Welcome to Verdane TV, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Liberty Racing League. This is our finale tonight here at Verdane TV. I am a Wes Rowdy Hogue, competitor as well as owner as Liberty Racing League. And of course, you have the man behind all the magic. You have Paul Strickland Jr., the guy that brings you all of the action every Tuesday night, as well as basically 7 nights a week here at Verdane, depending what league he's calling. But we're going to cut to the chase here tonight. Tonight is the finale. It is the finale of the Liberty Racing League Super Speedway Series of 2022-2023 winter series, and it's been awesome. For those that aren't familiar, we've ran 15 weeks up to this, not including an All-Star week, and we are week 4 of our 16 playoff championship bracket, and is down to the final 4 drivers, which are Mark Mann, Michael Carpenter, Rob Collier, and Jax Duval Crawl. We will be having words with each one of them here very shortly. Our first guest will end up being, I believe, Rob Collier is going to be our first guest. But first of all, I needed to show off this championship belt. This is the belt that all of the drivers will be getting. Brittany, if you can hit that light for me, please, ma'am, just for a second, as she's going to hit our belt so we can hit our light so we can get a really good look at this belt. What South Park episode where he stuck talking to his wife? Was it the Muse My Flame one? Is it that one?
I have no idea. I haven't watched South Park in probably
Okay.
like a decade.
Okay. There we go. Now we got some lights on. All right. So get a look at our belt here. This is the Verdane TV championship belt that's
That thing's
clearly
so
upside down.
shiny. I can
It
see
is.
myself in the
Isn't that crazy?
reflection of your computer. Like that's wild.
Isn't that crazy? You got the leather strap here. You got the nameplates on the side. Absolutely beautiful. Tonight we crown a champion, and a champion gets to have this belt. You're good. A champion gets to have this belt at some point or another.
Brittany with the
Um,
assist. Let's go.
yeah, yes. Thank you, Brittany. Appreciate you. So, Paul, first of all, thank you for being with us for so long, being with us throughout this. Hopefully, you've had fun throughout this season as well.
Yeah, it's been a blast, man. Really, you know as well as I do, I'm a big fan of super speedway racing. It's really the only style of racing I'm actually halfway decent at. I'm not good. I've never been good. I've only got one win back in 2007, as far as sim racing leagues goes, and that even goes back to Verdane Racing, back when we were a super speedway league. I can remember back in 2008, 2009, we started the season 3, and we were in still in NR 2003. So it was a huge thing. We had 6 races scheduled. We did them all on RLM TV, which was kind of the grandfather of sim racing broadcasting, and it was wild. We had over 100 drivers kind of show up for that, and to be able to see, Verdane Racing no longer league, Verdane TV is totally a thing. Doing the sim racing broadcast, I'm kind of attacking it from a different level because I can't drive, but I got a real fast mouth. And I got a face for radio, which I got the webcam on, but I digress. It's just kind of cool to be able to see that you had so much influence on Verdane Racing West that you were able to kind of take that, get yourself a good team set up behind you, surround yourself with good guys, great drivers, great admins, great broadcast crew. Shout out to Kyle Young, Dr. Race Chaser, joining us later on for the race here tonight. But to be able to see Liberty Racing now, this is second season 2, to see the different names and personalities grow, and to see some guys get better, some guys get phenomenal over the course of a full season, season and a half. But it's been cool, and the racing has been phenomenal. It really has, and you got to plug it, right? You got to plug that YouTube page. Shoot on over there if it ain't TV, and just take a look at all the Liberty Racing League races on there. Some of the best super speedway races that I've had the pleasure to call and really witness.
So, first of all, I got to thank bshow.info as well. They've been a huge part of us. They've been the sponsor throughout the series, paying out our drivers $25 per win, which is awesome. The original idea was we're going to be paying drivers $10 per win. And a bshow.info, Joe and the guys over there. So, you know what? We're going to pay your guys $25 per win. So, shout out to them, as well as shout out to Dr. Race Chaser. Dr. Race Chaser came in about 3/4 of the season, giving out a hard charger award to the driver that came up and made up the most positions from start to finish. But that has now transferred over through these playoff races of if a driver ends up winning without being in the championship, gets that extra $10. So if you're not in the championship, you're able to not only win the normal 25, but you have an opportunity to win an extra $10. So without further ado, we have guests that are already joining us, Paul. First on the board is Jax Duval Crawl. Jax, you got a copy?
That's a solid maybe.
Okay, it says he's still connecting his audio, so Jax is he's still working on his microphone here. Keep on working on that, Jax. If you need any help, feel free to DM me here in Discord. I can help you on that. Still says you're connecting, so we'll let him do that. A little bit of background on Jax. He actually messaged the Liberty Racing League page when we were recruiting for this season. He said, "Hey, I want to join you guys." We thought he was just we thought it was a troll because of his name's the same on Facebook, and he's from Jacksonville, which is where I myself am from. Taylor's from a nearby city who is also a co-admin here. So we thought it's just somebody trolling us, and come to find out, he wanted to join us. And Jax has been very quiet throughout the season. He has not recorded a win yet. However, he has Ryan Newman his way into these playoffs, and he's been able to get in here without causing any drama, with keeping his mouth shut and just consistent races, top 10s, top 5s, making sure he's there at the end. And throughout these playoffs, the last 2 playoff races or 3 playoff races now, he's beat the guys he's needed to beat. So we're actually waiting for Jax to pop in here now. Paul, just give me the thumbs up when he is able to get in here. But nonetheless, we're going to have Jax Duval joining us here. We're also going to have Rob Collier here in a moment as well. Rob Collier, again, is a driver as well that is in these playoffs, that has one of the more dominant seasons. I think Rob has 3 wins, and I believe we have Rob now with us. Rob, you got a copy?
I got you. You guys got me?
There we go. We have Mr. Collier. All right, Rob. Good to see you. There
You
we
actually
go.
get to see me.
Yeah, now we got you. About time. So you have similar roofs to me, man. You got those similar wooden roofs. I love it. So it's that time, Rob. This season has been a roller coaster for you. You've had a few wins, some bad races, some things not going your way. Netcode has been your middle name. Seems like if there's Netcode, that's finding you. So, but now here we are. It is the final 4. Points don't matter. It comes down to who finishes where, just like how NASCAR does their final 4. You guys are racing for this championship belt. 10 pounds of gold. It's a beautiful belt. We showcased it earlier when the lights were on. But it's ready to go. It's ready to be shipped. Walk us through your season first.
Well, originally I wasn't planning on running this until you come knocking on the door. It's like, hey, Rob, come run this. It's like, okay. No offense, the fact that you said there was some money involved kind of enticed me a little bit more, since I do enjoy plate racing, but at the same time, it drives me crazy. So that made it a little bearable. Start of the year, after I figured out that was a full leg 500, I was like, well, got to win that. If I don't win that, I'll be ridiculed by all my buddies. But after that, the first couple of races, more like just feeling everybody out. And then afterwards, just seeing what the season brought. Lucky enough to get the 3 wins. Like you said, Netcode, I feel I should have at least 5 more wins with how some of those races were going. But it is what it is. Last week had some bad stuff happen, but then we had more shenanigans happen at the end of the race. So here I am. Can't complain about that. And yeah, with that being said, just go for broke tonight. Checker the record.
So this season, again, we talked about, you went out and won that Daytona 500, which was, that's one of the hardest races to win, especially with that car. It can be a pain to pass with that side draft, and you were able to get yourself up front, keep yourself up front through the green, white checkers and everything that there was. You did a hell of a job with that. After that, you got your second win, which was right after the week 2, I believe, is when you got your second win, and then you went completely winless until just going into these playoffs. At some point, kind of explain to those who haven't raced with us just the level of competition here at Liberty, because I look at yourself. I've called the races that you've been in other leagues. You're a hell of a competitor, and just kind of explain how difficult it is to win in this league.
Yeah, it's like you said, as the season's gone throughout, people got more experience of what's going on, how people act, and yeah, they steadily just improved. Honestly, I'm surprised Jack didn't get a win this year. That's one, yeah, the crazy things, especially after I first saw him beginning of the year, and it's like, yeah, this guy seems a little crazy. Then he just kept at it and he got better. The other big factor was the fact that this is a fixed setup league. Um, I have a feeling that if this was open setup, we might have had a completely different story with the players up front. That helped out a lot of people. But yeah, overall, the field settled in to where we had a good crowd of competitors every week, so that made it entertaining.
So Rob, you have I know you've won championships in the sim racing world before, open setup races. You have multiple wins as well. I'm not sure what you have when it comes to actual accolades and physical accolades in the sim racing world. What would it mean to you to bring home this championship title after tonight?
Be pretty badass, to tell you the truth. Yeah, it's like I kind of want that belt. So, like I said, it's gonna be checker records tonight.
So this belt, there's a lot of history behind this, and Paul can mention as well. Back when Verdane TV was Verdane Racing, that was the championship for the Super Speedway Series, was a belt, and Verdane Racing went away for several years after the 2013-2014 season, came back in 2020, and unfortunately, issues with management made it fizzle out again, and Verdane Racing then became Verdane TV, which is bigger than ever. Which I'm very humbled to say that I was here for the beginning of it and seeing the hard work that Paul went into it. But seeing that as well, I didn't want the memory of Verdane and what Verdane was able to bring to the sim racing community, the super speedway sim racing community specifically. I didn't want to let that go away. So we wanted to have this belt still be something. And in Liberty Racing League and myself, we come together and be able to offer this. And I can say, just as the owner and the guy that footed the bill on this thing, if you came out to be the champion, it definitely wouldn't be it wouldn't be something that I would be ashamed of. I think you would represent the league very well as our 2022 winter super speedway series champion. I think that would be really cool. So Rob, we got Duval here on the line. We're going to speak to him as well. I wanted to wish you luck, and I wanted to just tell you, man, it's been awesome racing with you through the season. I'm looking forward to teaming with you on the 30th, and it's time to race 80 laps. I'll tell you what, I might not be in the championship, but damn it, I want to win a race this season. So I can't wait to see you tonight.
All right, good luck, man.
All right, man. All right, so next on the line, we're not sure if this guy is Osama bin Laden. We're not sure if he's Hillary Clinton. There's a chance that he's the Unabomber. He's been very incognito for 15 weeks, and why would he show his face finally? Why would he on week 16? I'm kind of glad you're not. However, if you bring home this championship, I'm not putting it in a bush somewhere at 2 a.m. and walking away from it without turning my back. I'm going to meet you and I'm going to shake your hand. And one way or another.
I need you to drop it off in a garbage can in a park.
Jax, first of all, I got to say congratulations on making this far, man. You have kept your head down. You've kept your mouth shut, and you let your racing do the talking. And that means a lot to me as a league admin, because as you see in the Discord, it doesn't take much for people to start talking, and it continues to go and go and go. And you've just kind of been the breath of fresh air, the comedic relief. But when the proverbial helmets go on, you've been able to get the job done. Walk us through your season, how you got here so far.
It's been tough. Just been trying to get up front and stay up front, and it doesn't work that way sometimes.
So I'll tell you what. I know I haven't had an issue with you at all throughout the season. I don't think anybody really has. Nobody said, "Man, F that guy." I think everybody else has had that throughout this year, but you've kept your nose down. And I honestly don't know much about you. Tell us about your sim racing background. How long have you been racing
for? When I joined this league, Liberty Racing League, I've been on for maybe, when did we start up in December?
Shit, I don't remember.
So I mean, I just got it October. I got it October last year,
Oh,
So
okay. So you're fairly
I'm
new to
still
sim racing.
new. Yes.
Okay.
And I love speedway racing. So I saw your post on Facebook and went from there and wanted to join. And I just love speedway. And I was very impressed once we got this league going. Started up, I was very impressed with the racing. And I think everyone pretty much races with how they want to be raced here. And that's what's made it enjoyable.
For sure. Now, I expected the top to blow off at some point, as we've seen in private forums. You're not going to have 30 odd guys all get along for an entire
Correct.
season. But luckily, we haven't seen too much of it blow off onto the track. We haven't seen anybody, haul off and wreck somebody on purpose. There, of course, people are accused of it, but we haven't seen that. And I feel like you've done a really good job of, again, just not finding the drama. You're not letting the drama find you. You're not finding the drama. I look at the results page of every single race, and I wonder where the hell is this guy coming from? Because you're not somebody that's up there leading all the laps, but also you're not in the back causing the incidents. What is the typical Jax Duval crawl strategy? Are you the type to lay in the back and then move up once it counts, or you just try to stay in the middle, feel things out, move out, or are you the type to just, hey, fall where we fall, wherever the chips fall, that's where I'm going to be?
Well, I mean, I treat it like Heat 5. That's where I pretty much came from. That was my first racing game.
Okay.
And now I was in a lot of leagues there, learned a lot, brought it to over here to iRacing, and I try to stay in line and ad, advance myself on other people's mistakes.
And
So,
I think you've done a pretty good job of that. So I'll ask you the same question that I asked Rob going into this. Accolades are cool, especially for video games. Not often do you get an accolade for a video game. At the end of the day, this is, as I've said before, this is our break from reality. We jump on here for an hour and a half, bitch at each other to just get a break from reality. But what would it mean to you to bring home the 10 pounds of gold, so to say, the Liberty Racing League belt here? When we had a light on, it was a much brighter. But you've seen footage of it. What
oh
would
yeah,
it mean for you to bring something home like this, especially so young in your sim racing career?
oh, that'd be awesome. Especially since there's a lot of wrestling fans in this league and other leagues that I'm in. It'd just be cool to have that trophy being a wrestling belt. And I
Oh,
would wear it proudly over my shoulder, of course.
so I have to ask this: if you win this belt, because this is something I'm going to ask any of the winners, and I don't care how many felonies you're running from, I'm going to ask you: are you willing to take a picture with this belt and send it to us if you win it?
Of course, absolutely.
Awesome. That's all. That's all we can ask. So we got one more round, man. We got one more race. It has been a pleasure racing with you, Jax. It's been a pleasure with the banter with you back and forth. I think we've had fun, and
Oh yeah.
that's what this is all about, is having fun. And
I will say the toughest thing about this league, especially being new, not knowing anybody, was you got teams in here, and that's what you need at a speedway, I believe, to be strong. But I've been working a lot with Bobby Anderson. We hooked up about halfway during the season. He's been real good help. Unfortunately, got some raw deals at the last two playoff races, but still a great teammate. And I thank Bobby Anderson for helping me out a lot.
I think Bobby Anderson was another one that we didn't say his name once as admins. We didn't say, "Oh, that wreck was on Bobby Anderson," or "Man, Bobby Anderson may have caused this." Or I didn't even know he was in the playoffs, because he stayed that low key as well. So both you guys did and that's not an insult. That's a compliment, because both you guys stayed under the radar and you snuck your way in. Unfortunately, iRacing Super Speedway bit them. Um,
Yep.
but you made it out, man. So about an hour left here in practice. Any final words you want to say before we hit out the track?
Just good luck to everybody and hope we can come home with that belt.
All right, man. I had a blast racing with you. One more race, and hopefully, possibly see you for that race on April 30th. If not, hopefully we see you for next season.
Oh, I'll be there definitely.
Awesome. All right, man. Have some fun.
Thank you, appreciate it.
All right, Paul. So we got two more to go. We are going to kind of chit chat a little bit. Paul, what do you think so far of the two guys that we've talked to?
It's a couple of guys that are really, really motivated. Being able to because some people know the history of Verdane Racing, right? Some people have seen the belt, the original belt that Ian Plash won back in the day, and then the the Sim 500 Verdane Racing Super Speedway Championship belt that Jared Bolliard won, had the opportunity to become the only guy with 2 Sim Racing Championship belts that we're aware of here at Verdane TV. But man, it's been great. These guys are motivated. They're ready to rock and roll. They're laser focused. They got a little bit of extra time here tonight to get some practice in. Trucks at Daytona, everybody kind of hems and haws like, oh, that's the easiest combo to drive. It is if you want to go out there for a Sunday drive. If you want to see some high impact, incredible, phenomenal super speedway racing, you got to check out the race here in about an hour's time, a little over an hour here, maybe an hour and 5 minutes or so, for the drop of that green flag. Because these guys, we had iRacing Super Speedway a couple of weeks back, and Kyle Young and myself were going crazy in the booth. We had tandem drafting, we had pack racing, we had 3 lines, 3 by 3 by 3, 6 rows back, all the way back, and just incredible moves. We were up until past midnight here on the East Coast last week reviewing the finish of the race, and unfortunately Kevin West got dinged there for passing below the yellow, got sent to the back and didn't make the playoffs. But just incredible racing. Storytelling has been phenomenal all the way throughout the season. And that's what we're all about here at Verdane TV, man. We're here, we want to entertain the masses, and the best way to do that is kind of long-term storytelling. And over the past 18, 19 weeks, what was it, 18 races, 19 weeks, because we had that all-star race that
16 races, 17 weeks.
That's what it was, yeah, because there was that one week we had the all-star race that your boy finished 6th in. Would have had a top 5 if you didn't quit messing with me that first 20 minutes or so. But well, whatever. It's been cool talking to 2 of these guys so far here. Got a little bit of time getting them lined up on the horn to see if we can get these guys up in here and talk. And it's been neat to kind of go over strategies with these guys too, because you never really know who's thinking what, who's still got teammates, and who's just kind of out for themselves, who's going into business for themselves, as it were.
Yeah, for sure. And it's crazy how everything always results back to either food or wrestling. It's one of the 2 here. It's either food or wrestling. It always reverts back to it. There's nothing we can do about that. It's just the way our lives work. So, Paul, while we have a little bit of time, I do want to talk about the special event that's going to be coming up April 30th. And I think you actually have a little bit of a breaking news for that, don't you?
I do. We do have we're burning the midnight oil just a little bit. We're very excited to have the Verdane TV 200 on April 30th. We're going to be broadcasting the race live right here on Verdane TV. And I need everybody to just kind of take a step back and understand that is Spring Sizzler weekend at Stafford Motor Speedway. I'm going to be in no shape to fight come Sunday night, but I'm going to take that Monday night off from work, or that Monday off from work, and make sure that we get that race covered here. I believe Kyle Young's going to be joining me in the booth. We're going to have some surprises up in the broadcast booth as well. And we've got some surprises for y'all for that race. Let's just say something in the hardware department for, was it teams of 4 and then an overall winner? So, a little bit of hardware in the works. I saw final products. I saw the pictures of the final products, and I tell you, I'm excited. I'm so excited that I actually told my boy Ashton Reiki to go back and make me one for being the announcer for the race. The hardware is pretty badass. It's all boxed up, ready to rock and roll. It's getting shipped down here by the end of this week. It's getting put in a box up there in the Maritimes, up in Canada. I'm excited. We'll have a little unboxing ceremony here on Verdane TV. We'll make sure we get it over to the Liberty Racing page as well. But being able to throw the Verdane TV banner right on that, the Verdane TV 200, I'm excited because we've got a stacked bunch of teams coming in from Liberty Racing, and now that field is kind of set, the opportunity brings itself up. Do we bring in some more guys? Are we still looking for entries? How do we get involved here, Wes?
Yeah, for sure. So you can message us at Liberty Racing League. It's $80 per team, which is basically $20 per person, four people max. A team that has the most combined points at the end of the race splits $500. So let's say if you get it done with only 3 teammates, y'all 3 are going to get a bigger cut than if you had 4. Paul, don't try the math, Paul. It's going to hurt yourself. It's going to be really cool. Or let's say if you don't I'm trying to get Mark Mann in here. And check your DMs. Okay. If let's say if you don't have a teammate, but you want to come in and still run with it, it's $20 entry fee, $100 to win. Pretty easy. $20 ahead, $100 to win. If you got a teammate, $500. That's a lot of money for us to just shell out. And I'll be honest with you, I've been completely what's the word? Transparent. I've been completely transparent about the money that goes into this league. I feel like leagues especially in here, get a really bad reputation because some of these guys aren't exactly transparent what happens with this money. There's a league that I unfortunately ran with that does special events, and I didn't know that the payout that's advertised is actually depends on the amount of drivers that show up, and then the admin pockets some of it. We don't do that here at Liberty Racing League. We tell you exactly what you're going to win, no matter if there's 5 drivers or 55 drivers. If it's to the point where I'm paying out of pocket, I'll pay out of pocket. So because we picked up we picked up bshow.info this season, we have a lot of cash laying around from entry fees. And because of that, we're going to run this special event, and we're going to use that cash towards the prize. So by the time that event's over, we're back to a balance of 0. And we start from scratch again when it's time to get rocking and rolling for the next season later on this year. So here momentarily, Mark Mann should be joining us. He's going to be, again, one of our final 4 drivers. We're just waiting. He just sent me a message. So just wait for him to pop in here, Paul. All right.
Yeah, technology is one of those fun things, trying to get everybody lined up, scheduling. It's only live TV. We're doing the best we can. I think we've come a long way here in the 3 years of existence here on Verdane TV, and just kind of being able to watch the drivers, the personalities, everybody as a whole kind of grow together has been super, super neat. And I'm kind of being, I don't want to say cryptic. I don't want to use the word cryptic, but with the future of Verdane TV, it is very, very bright. We've got some real racing stuff coming up this year here in 2023. We're going to be a part of a couple of race teams at Stafford Motor Speedway, Waterford Speed Bowl, potentially even down in Jennerstown, maybe a few down south as well. So really excited for that, and waiting ever so patiently for my vinyl cutter parts to come in so I can get some vinyl Verdane TV decals cut up. Got to get him over to that 23 car. Alex Spinato, son of a race car driver, son of Gary Spinato Jr., the co-owner of Rent a Race Car. He's starting his rookie season this year. He's got 2 starts under his belt, getting ready to rock and roll for a full season, going for Rookie of the Year in the Street Stocks at Stafford Motor Speedway, and Verdane TV is super excited to be a part of it. Being able to watch Alex kind of grow from just a wee little kid to someone who could probably kick my ass. He's playing a lot of football, a lot of sports, and definitely eating his Wheaties. So it's gonna be cool to be able to see him race at the track. And the cool thing is, we have the same seat size. So if his grades don't stay good in school, you might have to give the old backup driver a call.
Paul, I got to ask, what's on your finger? What happened?
I was working
It's
on
a Band-Aid.
It's electrical tape.
Yeah. As a Band-Aid.
As a Band-Aid, yeah. I got
Yeah.
I pinched it in the tailgate, and it wouldn't stop bleeding.
That's what Dahmer said too.
Yeah, he didn't use electrical tape though.
Bleeding. To hell we go. All right, Mark Mann is trying to figure out technology. He is here, but he's trying to make sure all his stuff is working. So here momentarily, we're going to talk to the 3rd driver of our final 4 and get a good idea of what's on Mark Mann's mind, and a little bit about Mark. Mark has been about an awesome team that, again, has been very low key. Mark Mann and his team has been him, Rick Seabrand. There's more on that team. I just can't think of them off the top of my head. Limitless Alliance Racing, I believe, was the team. If I look that up, either way, they've been crazy. Yes, Limitless Alliance Racing. Their strategies have been crazy throughout the season. They have been great on the fuel strategy. Believe it or not, we've had some races that need a fuel strategy, and it's been awesome. It really has been awesome. Trying right now to help out Mark. Okay, I see Mark is in. He's in Discord here. Paul, if you actually, this might actually be easier if we can get his audio up. If you want to pop down in the Limitless. All right, Paul, you got a copy?
There we go.
All right, Mark, you got a copy?
I do.
All right, Paul, you got the audio from Mark?
Yes, I do.
Perfect. Awesome. So, all right, Mark. So, first of all, welcome to the Final Four. How the hell did you get here?
I have no idea. Can you see my video?
Yeah, we see you. We see
All
you,
right.
man.
I didn't want to show my ugly mug tonight, but I
No,
decided might as well.
No, you're good, man. So again, congratulations. It's
Thank
been
you.
a long 15 regular season weeks. All of us have really busted our tail throughout the weeks to get to this point. You and your team have been ridiculous with the pit strategy and the fuel strategies and the stupid shit that makes the rest of us mad, but we can't get too mad because you're not doing anything wrong. You guys have been on point in certain races where it's just like, how the hell did they do this? Finding ways to tandem, like the crazy stuff you guys have been doing. What got you here?
Definitely my teammates, Rick Seabrands, James Mayer, Anthony English, David O there for a while, and Jimmy Reynolds. Hopefully he comes back tonight. I'm going to need all the help I can get. I don't know if Jim's going to make it tonight, but I still got Rick and I got Anthony and hopefully Jimmy. Basically, it came down to them. I'm a little bit dense, so they just kind of coach me through things if I'm leading. And after Rick got eliminated, which was very heartbreaking because he was my favorite to win it all. After he got eliminated, I knew, I was going to have to step it up for us as a team. And, I get coached through it. And here I am in the championship. I'm excited. I'm nervous. It'd mean a lot to win. You got me pumped up with that video today. I was showing everybody at work. I was trying to get some new people to buy some iRacing equipment and get out here.
Hopefully we're going to get some viewers tonight to watch you, right? Those coworkers better be watching.
Well, yeah, my friend and colleague Mara, she watches all of my races. I'm primarily a plate monkey. I don't really have time to practice mile and a halves. My competitive career is pretty much over. I'm 45 years old, except for that occasional game of golf. This is it. And for us, this is big time. To win a championship over here at Liberty would mean everything. With respect to competition, I would love to win that belt. That would be great. But, you got Rob Collier, who's, the guy likes to run up front all night. He's super solid. You got Jax Duvall-Crawl. He's a sniper. You don't see him all race. Next thing you know, he's up there in the top 5 competing for a win. And then you just have Michael Carpenter, who has been consistent all season and, won the season championship for a reason. All three of those guys are going to be super, super hard to beat. It's going to take everything. It's going to, no mistakes on pit road tonight. My teammates being there, me being there with my teammates. Hopefully I don't get caught up in any carnage. I've raced for a championship before where I got, bush leagued. And I know that this league is not like that. So I'm super excited that, we're going to race it clean to the end. And, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, man.
I'm wearing that belt, man.
For sure,
Strap, baby.
for sure, man. I'll tell you what. The cool thing about our league, and this is something that we started up last year, is we want to be really team oriented. Myself, Taylor, and Kevin, we've all been racing together since 2004 on PS2. That's how all three of us met.
Oh wow.
That's why our name is NTO4 Racing. That's NASCAR Thunder 2004 Racing. That's the game we all met playing online. And throughout these years, we've stayed friends, and we wanted to use this team to advance Liberty. And we figured, we really want to make this league something that is team oriented because there's a lot of teams out there. So, with that being said, though, Duvall-Crawl not in a team. Rob Collier not in a team. Then you have Michael Carpenter, who this year is getting the most improved award from their last season of this season of Warrior Motorsports. How do you approach that, knowing that you're not only facing a man, you're facing his entire team tonight? Yeah,
it's pretty scary, honestly. Like I said, I'm actually really nervous for this. I thought about this all day at work, and and I have a reason to be. I mean, I found this league. Rick actually found the league. And you guys, giving out money, bshow.info, how freaking awesome. But sorry to get off topic there. Michael Carpenter and his team, dangerous. I mean, they're going to be up there. I have a feeling, if I'm going to want this championship, if I'm going to get this championship, I'm going to have to win the race. There's no question about it. I mean, all three of those guys are going to be up there tonight. I don't see any other way. We're just going to have to win Alliance Motorsports. We're just going to have to bring it tonight and be mistake free. And Michael Carpenter races super clean. So does Rob and so does Jack. So I have like absolutely no worries about those guys. You know, I'm absolutely not going to wreck them on the last lap for a championship if they're leading. You know, I'm going to race them like hell, but I'm going to race them as clean as possible. And I know I'll get the same respect if I'm there, but got to be there at the end. Who the heck knows? You know, it's going to be a long race.
So, as you know, how many wins do you have this year, Mark? Is it two, three? I'll have to look at the stats.
Maybe two. I don't have as many as you think.
I'll have to look, but I bring up the question because you've been there all throughout the season. You've been in contention. You've been in the picture. You've done a hell of a job doing so, and a lot of it has come down to strategy. With this being trucks, which is probably I'm not going to say easy, but the easier vehicle to drive, and then run Daytona a little bit more narrow, right? Then Daytona could be a little bit more tricky, especially through that tri-oval. As I pull up your stats real quick, let me just say you have 3 wins with an average start of 16, average finish of 9th. I'm not going to be able to look up top 10s, top 5s. I ain't already got time for all that. But you got 3 wins going in this. A lot of it was on strategy. I don't know if that strategy, and just coming from competitor to competitor, I'm not sure if that strategy is going to happen again tonight, because I don't know if we're going to get those same green flag runs that your team's been able to really help excel your team, which we've all been envious of because of doing so, because you guys have been great. I mean, I remember one of the races, I think it might have been iRacing Super Speed, I don't know what the hell it was, but you guys had the strategy down. You're all by yourself. My team, we're all like MFing you guys, and then then we're silent, so we're like, we can't even be mad at them. And then we all start laughing. We're just like, we can't even really be mad at them because they didn't wreck us. They didn't do anything, that was egregious. They won on freaking strategy. And
that was Rick's call.
Sometimes that pisses you off, though, when you get out strategized by somebody. You're like, damn it, I know I can beat them, but they outsmarted me. That really pisses you off sometimes.
Rick's a cerebral assassin when it comes to strategy.
Man, your competitors here that's going for the championship better hope he doesn't show up. But just kind of,
he's in here. I've been racing with Rick for 5 years. You know, he was one of the first people I became friends with in iRacing, and he was a mentor and still is. I learn a ton from him all the time.
That's the cool thing about this league, that we did a full revamp this season of the roster, minus about 5 or 6 guys. But that's the cool thing about this is we have a lot of friends, a lot of camaraderie, a lot of, honestly, don't take this the wrong way, Mark, but older racers to the point where, I mean, before we had a lot of teens to early 20s, which caused a little bit more drama. Where you bring a little bit more maturity into it, a lot of that drama goes away. Granted, it is sim racing, it's online racing, there's still going to be drama. There's no way that 30 plus drivers can be around each other for this long without getting in each other's nerves at one point or another. And it's happening on the Discord, as some can see. But at the end of the day, when the proverbial helmets go on, kind of all that kind of goes away, and we realize it's time to go at it. But Mark, I got one question for you before we wrap this up, because I know we've got about 40 minutes left in practice. We got the belt sitting here. We got Old Glory. It's a beautiful belt. When the lights were on, when the lights were on in here, it was a bit more shiny, but you can check your teeth in this damn thing. What would it mean to you to be the driver that brings this home and have to send me your address to send this to?
It'd be phenomenal. I would be on cloud 9 for a long time and be looking forward to your league again when you start back up. I think in the fall or in the winter.
Yeah, not exactly sure on date yet for next season. Yeah, you're probably looking fall, winter. I don't know when the hell we even started this season. I'd have to look. But
if I don't win it, or if I do, I would love to be invited back. I've had a great time racing on Tuesday nights. The sponsorships have been awesome. The racing's been great. The variety has been interesting. Like I said, I'm just a plate monkey, so I don't have time to do 1.5 mile practices or anything. I just like to get in and go race the drivers like you do on super speedways, as opposed to racing the track on 1.5 miles. So it would mean everything. With respect to iRacing, that would be the biggest trophy I've won so far. It'd be cool, man. I want to bring that baby home, but it's gonna be a long race. Well, check back with me in 2.5 hours and see how I feel.
So, nonetheless, obviously, you and your entire team will always be welcome back with us. We hope to see you in
Appreciate
April 30th, since you guys already have the paid entry to
Right.
raise for $500
Yeah.
together. I don't think I have your numbers locked in yet, so whomever you guys might deem as the captain of letting me know that, let me know that as soon as you can.
I'll let you know right now. Rick's our captain, the 4. I'm the 04. James Mayer is the 95. Anthony English is the 44.
You'll have to message me later.
Okay.
I won't remember all that now, but that's
No
awesome.
problem.
Yeah, we'll be happy to see you guys there in 200 laps. Hopefully, we can screw you guys out of some kind of strategy, because screw you guys on that strategy. So, nonetheless, Mark, thank you for being a part of Liberty Racing League this season.
I've enjoyed it.
You've been a key part of this season, and your entire team has been a huge asset, along with every competitor in this season this year. Has been a huge asset. So thank you for being here. And
thank you.
Look forward to racing with you tonight and on to April 30th.
I will say you and Rick got knocked out early, which was super unfortunate, but you and Rick were my favorites. Wanted you to win this championship. I hate to see that you guys not in this Final Four. Both of you deserve to be in it, but yeah. Did you win it last year?
So last year, the finale got manipulated by a driver that unfortunately it kind of threw the race away, and that driver's no longer with us. Obviously, we had a driver unfortunately bring out a caution on purpose, while another driver had a 3-second lead on the rest of the field. But because his teammates were screwed, he wanted to literally just stop on the track and bring out the caution to help.
We don't need any of that.
Yeah. So in my past, in 2012 or in 2013, I went into the finale race tied for points. This is before we even had a playoff, and came second. The year after that, I finished second, and then last year I was in it. I was in it in that Final Four, but unfortunately that happened, and nobody got the award. And before that, I was when we had this belt. We ran for Sim Racing 500 League. This belt was a championship, and I finished second. So
Dave's coming home, baby!
Oh yeah! So
yeah.
All right, Mark, go get your ass in that seat. Let's have the fun. We'll see if you bring this home tonight.
All right, brother. I'm pumped.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Thank you.
It's one of the cool things, man. It's been mentioned a couple times on the show. It's been mentioned a couple of times in weeks past, man. There's so many wrestling fans in Liberty Racing League. It's so cool to be able to make the connections and just make all the extra calls and kind of listen to everybody's nonsense throughout all the trash talking, whether it's on Twitter or Discord or in the iRacing chat or whatever it may be. So it's a lot of cool. Wes, let me get your audio sorted back out here, because that's how we do things here on live TV.
We're yeah, there we go. I say we were kind of muting a little bit. Perfect. So I'm trying to get Michael Carpenter. I'm trying to get the final driver in here with us. I haven't been able to touch base with him yet. I'm going to keep on trying here. See if we can get Michael on board. I'm going to jump in their Discord real quick, if you don't mind. If you can just mute me real fast in here, and I will jump in their Discord.
We always have to mute Wes when he's doing incognito stuff like that, because you never know what kind of language he's going to use. But man, it's cool being able to talk to these three guys in the championship hunt, looking for the fourth right now. Michael Carpenter, very surprisingly, barely made himself in to the round of 16 a few weeks back. Just an incredible finish to a race, wreck on the last lap, coming to this checkered, and just really showed that resiliency, got into the playoffs, and has just, you don't want to use the term survive, but really got his way into the playoffs, and he's in the Final Four, and we're trying to get hooked up with him here. Wes making some connections, and we'll see if we can get the sound all hooked up and get this thing ready to rock and roll. What do we got, Wes?
All right, so Mike is not here just yet. I'm sure he may be here in a little bit, but we'll let this go another 8 minutes. We don't see from him, unfortunately. We got to wrap things up because we do have a race to run here tonight. So, Paul, I guess his last 8 minutes here. Just want to kind of just talk a little bit on just thankful the way that this came about. I just spoke about this belt and how it has just kind of kept itself from me. Same thing with Kevin West. Feel bad for him. Last season, I mean, he had a 3-second lead and had a driver bring out the caution on purpose, which screwed him. this season. For those who weren't here last week, he moved on. He moved on into the championship four, but he made a completely irrelevant pass underneath the yellow line that scored him tail end of the longest line on the last lap, eliminating. When I say irrelevant, if he would have never went for that pass, he was still in. If he would have made it, if he would have fell back one position, he was still in. But unfortunately, we had to stay up with the rules, and it sucks when stuff like that happens, but it does happen. So,
and it's tough too, because if everybody's eyes were focused up on the start finish line, up on the wall where Wes was this close from winning a race this season. And I don't mean to
yeah,
stab you in the heart and twist again, but I mean,
winning.
I can make you feel a little bit better, and maybe pump some life into the viewer. I mean, I got a picture of them trophies.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I
I
so
guess that's right.
now my strategy going into this, same thing in strategy going into last time. I had a teammate, and then I guess someone that's co-opetition, somebody that um someone that we work with, not an official teammate, but someone we work with. I had two friends basically in the championship, and I said, "F y'all, I'm going for it." No, three actually. It was Taylor, Kevin, and then Jarrett Bolliard, and I was going for the win. I said that throughout the week. I said that going in that race, I had nothing to lose. Winning here is hard. I think we all know that at this point, and going to do the same here tonight. I have. There, honestly, to be completely honest with you, any of the four finalists win this championship, I'm cool with. All four have been a great ambassador for the league. Nobody's done anything in a dirty manner. Michael Carpenter has been amazing. He's our regular season champion. Mark Mann, you spoke to him, 3 wins. It's been him and his team have been strategic geniuses. Jax Duval-Crawl has been the Ryan Newman, where he's just been so quiet but deadly. And then Rob Collier's been just a force. I mean, he's always up front no matter what part of the race, and it's been a double-edged sword for him. So any of the four make it here, Paul. I'm okay with that. Kind of siding with Jax a little bit because he only probably lives like 30 minutes from me, and I can just drive up this belt instead of having to ship it to anybody.
I can tell you from experience, both times I've had to ship out those massive belts, there's been problems. I almost had to drive to Indiana, where Jarrett Bolliard lives, to find the package because it got delivered and U.S. Postal said it didn't, but it got dropped. It was a nightmare fuel. So being able to drive 30 minutes up the road would be a pretty cool little thing. Then you can always get the photo op in there, which was kind of neat to be able to have both Ian Plash and Jarrett Bolliard up at Stafford Motor Speedway. We were able to get a couple of shots with the belt and the Renner race cars in the background. So that was kind of cool, being able to put some faces and personalities to the guys that you've been calling races for, racing side by side with. And it's always kind of cool to cross that bridge and bridge that gap from sim racing to real racing. And it's neat. So whoever wins the belt, man, it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be a crazy race here tonight. Like we made mention earlier, Kyle and I have seen some phenomenal races. Both of us are big time super speedway fans, and if we weren't up here in the broadcast booth, the production trailer, you bet your ass we'd be down in this field because these guys know how to play and they know how to play hard.
So since we are waiting on him, let's get a special guest in here. I'm going to have special guests. I don't know if Michael's going to be able to make it in time. I see he is online, but I don't know if he's reading my. Is he top of the Zoom yet? He is not. I may have a special guest going to pop in here real fast. I'll mute my mic real quick.
Oh, wrong button. Don't say okay. So we'll get Wes lined up, special surprises, all sorts of cool stuff. Taking a look on the screen right now, that's where we started and where we are. The round of 16, you can see Carpenter winning the race to get into it. Mark Mann winning a race. Rob Collier there with one of his many wins on the season and breaking it all down to 4, the final 4. And each one of these races that we saw here on Verdane TV, you would see those drivers up in the top of the field throughout week after week. The cream really rising to the top and getting everything up towards the front. And Wes, what do we got? We got a special guest lined up. What's happening?
We do. Have they asked for entrance yet?
Do not believe they have. Which door are they coming in?
You don't want me to answer.
We'll just call it the Zoomador.
Yeah, we won't call it the back door.
Yeah.
All right. All right, yeah, I think he wasn't exactly prepared, so it may have taken him a second here, and I believe we have him on board here as his audio connects for us. All right, he's connecting as we are. Dallas, you got a copy?
Solid maybe.
Just let us know when you're here, Dallas. We don't necessarily need video, just audio's fine. Either way. There we go. Okay, we got video. Wait for audio. Video is there. Don't have audio. I think he's working on it. Oh, there we
Audio,
go.
Hey.
There we go. There we go.
What's going on? So I wanted to bring Dallas in here for the last 4 weeks or so. I don't count anymore. Dallas
Makes
has,
two of us.
Dallas has been guest race control for us. Dallas has taken a huge weight off the admin's shoulders, especially during the playoffs. And I just first of all want to say, Dallas, welcome to the show. And hey, thank you for your help on race control, man. Have you been having fun?
Yeah, actually, it's been fun for the most part. And there's been only a couple of stressful calls you have to make, but for the most part, it's been a lot of fun. Enjoying helping you guys out.
I think last week made up for any of the stressful calls you didn't have to make. Last week,
Yeah, that wasn't easy, but I mean, you have to make that call, especially for going forward in the future, because it just opens up a rabbit hole otherwise. So
for sure, just want to kind of get your experience. We've been talking about this race on April 30th. I think you said you wanted to be in race control for that as well. Tell us a little bit about your background, Dallas. You enjoy this whole race control thing?
Yeah, I've never done it before until you asked me, but then I was kind of worried about it would be a little bit more stressful than what it was, but you guys seem to race pretty clean for the most part. There hasn't been too many things I've had to worry about, but no, I mean, other than that, I mean, I've been on iRacing for, I think, since August, so I haven't been on here terribly long, so I'm still learning the ropes on a lot of things, but just being able to help you guys out it's been good for me, at least to get that experience, and I know it's been helpful for you guys. So
for sure. So Dallas, when it comes down to your position and when you're calling these wrecks, and thankfully, I mean, most of these wrecks are easy to call. Let's say the calls like we had a couple of weeks ago, where you have a driver coming up, driver coming down, you're having to make that call. How stressful is that for you to do so? Because you're an unbiased person. You don't know any of us. You haven't ever raced a single lap with us. How do you usually determine that call?
Mostly, I guess, probably the easiest thing is if somebody's holding their line and somebody comes down on them. Obviously, that's kind of your first inclination is who's holding their line the most. And if it's something where you can't really figure it out, it's probably both their issues. Obviously, racing deals happen. People are moving around a lot, especially super speedway racing. You know, whether you're pulling out to get a little bit of air or you washing up in the corner a little bit. They're pretty obvious when they're the driver's at fault, and for the most part, even in the race chat, they tend to apologize right away, which, once they are like, hey, by the way, my bad, it's kind of like, oh, that makes that decision a little bit easier. But just generally looking for who's holding their line, or if they shuffle out of place, if they move down on somebody and that causes them to go through, things like that. But it's pretty easy to tell. There hasn't been too many of them where I've had to kind of go back and forth, and having Jeremy, having Jeremy the last couple of weeks, at least talk it over, kind of get his viewpoints on it, has been beneficial too.
Awesome, man. I just wanted to have you pop in here real quick. I wanted to personally tell you thank you. Again, we've had a blast all season. You popping on board has been a big help. I don't even remember how the hell I found you.
I'm in the Nexus Sim Racing group, and you're like, hey, is anybody available tonight? And I'm like, I am. I have nothing going on.
That's perfect. So, man, thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking the weight off our shoulders and letting us just go out and race. And I'm sure we're gonna have some fun tonight. Hopefully, we don't give you any calls that are too stressful. And one thing that I got to say that we do like in the league, and us admins have all said it, we like your attitude about things. You're not a pushover. we've talked about that. I pros test that. Well, too fucking bad.
I mean, you're bringing
We
me
like that
into, you're bringing me in to be like, hey, I kind of need your help with this. I mean, if I'm watching it, I have all the different replays. What do they have sitting in their driver's seat? Nothing.
Right.
They have their viewpoint. So I can go back. I mean, I can watch at different angles. I can watch different cockpits. I can kind of
Right.
get a sense of exactly what was going on. And it's pretty hard to try to bullshit the race control. So
You're absolutely right. All right, man. We only got a few minutes left here in practice in the session. I'm going to get myself in. If you haven't chopped in, I recommend you do. We're going to wrap this up. I just want to pull you in real quick, Dow. Say thank you for all your help, and looking forward to working with you here in the future.
yeah, no problem. Glad to be on board. Good luck tonight. Have fun. Yeah, it should be interesting tonight. The battle should be pretty good tonight. So
We'll see. Have a good night, man.
thank you.
All right, Paul. So I got 7:33 p.m. Eastern time. We only have about 25 minutes left here in the session for practice. So, and I haven't even set up my wheel yet, buddy. So, I think I'm going to get in the driver's seat, and we're going to make this happen.
Yeah, I think I'm going to run down to the virtual snack booth and grab myself a little snacky poo, maybe a Diet Mountain Dew, and get ready to rock and roll here. Green flag in about
Hey,
a
Paul.
half hour. Yes,
Paul,
Wes.
does that virtual snack booth come with virtual calories and virtual carbohydrates?
I mean, probably, because I'm just going over to the fridge to get some pizza. But fourth wall, all that stuff. We're trying to add to the realism here. But man, oh man, it's gonna be a great race here tonight. Kyle Young joining me in the production trailer, broadcast booth, gonna be a blast. Grab yourself a snack, grab yourself a beverage, shoot on over to Verdane.net, grab yourself a Liberty Racing tank top, t-shirt, hat, sticker, all that good stuff. Use promo code CHAMP25 at checkout for 25% off, and that's on everything in the whole damn store. Rent a Race Car, Verdane TV, Angry Tree Guy, Visual Pollution, Liberty Racing, all sorts of cool stuff over there. Check it out, and be sure to give us the like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Green flag, 30 minutes, right here on Verdane TV. We'll see you in about 30 minutes.
regular season finale and wins his way into the Liberty Racing League.
The green flag, 27 cars strong, 125 laps and miles. Green flag is out and the Monster Mile 125 is underway.
He'll shoot to the outside lane. He gets by Jared Bolliard for the race lead.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Vidane TV. Kicking things off with a little slam drafting before we came up back to Daytona here to figure out which one of these four drivers is leaving with that championship belt, that beautiful championship belt that we saw earlier on Slam Draft and Radio. Rob Collier, Michael Carpenter, Batman, Mark Mann, and Jax Duval-Crawl going to be the four drivers that are going to be fighting for that championship. Everybody else in the field, they're fighting for Dr. Race Chaser's money, looking for that cool bonus to be one of the playoff drivers to win a race and spoil the fun for these top four. Taking a look right now, all the drivers lining up there, double file on pit road, getting ready to rock and roll one final time here this season. And what a season it has been. Taking a peek there at the starting lineup, Rick Sebrins in the number 4 car, finishing out the season with the pole. Bunch of fours up front. 44, Anthony English outside. Mark Mann, championship contender in the 04. Going to start P3. And how about the 38 car of Wes Hogue? He's starting P4. No longer in this championship fight, but you bet your bottom dollar he's going to try and come home with the victory here tonight at Daytona in the trucks. One of the coolest combos that we've had here on the Vidane TV, and it's the season closer here this evening. Nick McClellan going to round out the top 5. Jason Foskey starting in 6th. Jax Duval, he's going to start 7th. Kevin West crossed the yellow line last week on the last lap, made a pass, got sent to the EOLL, and the end of the longest line, unfortunately, cost him his shot at that championship belt. Jarrett Bolliard in the 97. Rob Collier, 3 wins on the season, going to round out the top 10. You'll be able to see the rest of the field go through the grid there on the screen. 24 drivers making the call here tonight. Dan Withers, Michael Rogers going to be rounding out the field there. David Watson, the number 25 car. That's Dallas Stewart in the 000. He's actually watching over this racetrack. We talked to Dallas before the race here tonight on Slam Drafting with Liberty Racing, just kind of getting his viewpoints on how it's been being the race official over the past 4 or 5 weeks here in Liberty Racing. And it's a lot of fun to be able to do something like that with guys that are as talented as these drivers here in Liberty Racing. Showtime Paul Strickland Jr. up here in the broadcast booth. Dr. Race Chaser Kyle Young, he's joining me very, very soon. There's his jet in the background. He's getting ready to land. He's coming out of turn 3 and 4 in the jumbo jet. That's definitely what's happening. Definitely what's happening. Lights are on. We're getting ready to heat up. The lights are off on that Silverado, the iRacing pace truck. I'm excited. This is going to be a lot of fun. We talked to 3 of the 4 championship contenders earlier tonight. It's been a blast all season long. A final green flag start. Barney in the flag stand waving it. Going to have himself a little bit of an off season here. Green flag flies. Those pair of 4s, they are hooked up down on the bottom side. Sebrins, English, man, 1, 2, 3. Hope there in 4th, and Foskey in the number 3 car, rounding out the top 5. Still 2 by 2 as they jam on up through the gears. Incredible season all race long. It's been fun to call these guys action. Watch this action live here on Vidane TV on Tuesday nights. And you can see these drivers do not want to disappoint. 4 drivers going for that championship belt. 1 driver going for the final win. Get those bragging rights. Get that Dr. Race Chaser money. And get that podium interview here on Vidane TV. The Turn 4 podcast post-race show coming up after this one. 80 laps on the docket. Crossing the stripe just as we started it. 444, 404, 123. 38 car still there. The Cole Bohannon ride. 2nd car on the outside. Taking a peek on the outside. The 44 of English. Get a little little bit of air on the nose of that 38 truck, and he's going to get that thing tucked right back into the tire track. Set his sights on the Fox logo on that rear bumper. To try and get him up to the lead. You can see the trailer park dude, the number 17 car. He's got nothing to lose. Wants to win this race. Got himself into the championship playoff 4 last week, but unfortunately on the very last lap crossed under the yellow line. According to NASCAR rules, that is an illegal pass. Got scored rather on the end of the longest line back in like 18th, I believe it was, and unfortunately cost him his spot in the playoffs floor. So 17 truck, $1 in the jar. It's a truck, not a car. $1 in the jar, appreciate that. But Kevin West having himself something to prove in that number 17 truck. Check him out over on Twitch as well. Trailer Park Dude. Always cool to see the other aspects of racing, other vantage points, get a little onboard shot there as well. A lot of these drivers running with the Twitch streams. You'll see the logos all over the trucks, all over the cars when we run them. And look at that push. Look at that move from the 38 car, getting Anthony English in the 44 all the way down to the bottom. And now that's going to open up the top side for those two teammate trucks. We got a little bit of history from Wes earlier tonight on Slam Drafted with Liberty Racing. Those guys have been racing since back in NASCAR Thunder 2004, and that's where that team name come from, NTO4 Racing. And those guys are hooked up, no longer in the championship hunt, but they all want to get themselves a win. And one of the things we've heard Wes talk about time and time again this season is that he needs to get himself his very first win this season in this league. Liberty Racing showing everybody what super speedway racing is all about here on Verdane TV, and we can't even begin to tell you how excited we are to bring on the special event coming up here at the end of April. April 30th going to be the big invitational race, big team race. Sign yourself up. Teams of 4, $80 per team entry, $20 per driver. You get $500 if your team wins, $100 to win the overall race. There's some trophies on the line as well. And oh, by the way, yours truly here at Verdane TV, jumping on the race sponsor, Verdane TV 200, presented by Conway Customs. Ashton Reiki jumping on board here with a little bit of hardware that we're excited to kind of allude to just a little bit. We'll be throwing that up on the socials here in the coming week or two, so be sure to look at that. How about that push, though, from the 4? The Yeti machine, Sebrins, all over the back bumper of English there. Textbook bump drafting on the straightaway, getting into the entry of the corner, backing up just a skosh, and you can see Batman there in the 04. Mark Mann, highest running championship contender currently, doing exactly what he needs to, being the third truck in line, backing up just a little bit. You can see he's still there, he's still supplying a little bit of draft, kind of helping the 44 and the 4 get that little bit of a push, and you can see the 02 up on the top side. Rob Collier, another championship contender, doing the exact same thing behind those NTO4 guys. Those guys hooked up bumper to bumper, 1 and 2. Third guy back, drops back just a little bit, able to keep that momentum going, and you can see the 17 wants a peek at the outside. Going to get a little fresh air on the nose of that 17 truck. Might be heating up just a little bit, and you can see we're still 2x2 all the way this field. These guys putting on a heck of a show as no other. And it's just been a phenomenal throughout the past couple of weeks here on Verdane TV. Rob Collier running in the 5th position. Mark Mann, he's going to take over that 5th position. Rob Collier dropping back to 6th rather. So they're side by side battling for that championship. Jax Duval Crawl, we saw him. He's just outside the top 10, running in the 12th position. He's dropped back about 5 spots since we've dropped the green flag. Michael Carpenter, quiet coming into this one. You can see he's got some teammates hooked up. The iRacing Warrior Motorsports drivers getting themselves hooked up towards the back of the pack. They're going to get try a couple of strategies to maybe keep everything in one piece. You can see a couple drivers just kind of lagging back a little bit, holding on to it. But Up front, all go Wesley Hogue in the number 38 truck. He's going to take over the lead, jump on down to the bottom side. Kevin West going to lead the top side in that 17 Trailer Park Dude ride. He's got the 0-2 of Collier right in behind him. Collier's on the move. He's up to 4th. He started back in 10th after that 5-minute qualifying, getting these drivers out on track, lined up according to speed. The 83 truck up there as well. Lasoski, he made his way pretty deep into the playoffs, into the round of 8, but did not make it to the Final Four. So he is another one of those drivers that's after Dr. Race Chaser's money. And it looks like that jumbo jet that we saw land back there in turn 4 was absolutely the private jet for Dr. Race Chaser. He's getting into the studio right now, getting his headset all hooked up, making sure the wireless mics are all plugged in, ready to rock and or roll. We are clean, we are green, 8 laps in, getting ready to cross the stripe here for lap number 9. NTO4 up front, showing in dominating fashion. They know how to lead these races early on, but Wes has been one of the drivers that has told us time and time again he cannot close the deal on these races, and what better way to close out the finale, the last race of the season, by getting himself a victory in that number 38 truck. And getting a little bit of TV time here in the Turn 4 podcast post-race show as we talk to the top 3 finishers as well as the winner of that beautiful championship belt. And I can actually see Kyle over there checking his hair in the reflection on that belt. That belt is so damn shiny. Kyle, how we doing tonight, brother? Getting into the racetrack 9 laps in here at Daytona.
Paul, I'm doing well. I'm a little bit better now that I'm here and ready to watch a little bit of racing rather than dealing with the real world stuff I've been dealing with today. So I will take this disconnection as an absolute opportunity to clear the head and have a little bit of entertainment here tonight at Daytona. Oh, what a better place to host a championship winning event here. It's where the season started. It is where the season will end. We started it with a 500-miler in the Cup cars. We're going to finish it out here with a 200-miler in the trucks. I know that these guys are very excited to get this season wrapped up. There is a lot on the line tonight. Some extra bonus money, of course, as you mentioned, courtesy of yours truly, Dr. Race Chaser, for any of the non-playoff drivers to go to victory lane tonight. It happened last week with James Meyer. We're going to see if it can happen again here tonight. And, of course, the championship belt that I was just trying to beautify myself in. It's on the line. It's going to have a home here in about an hour's time. We don't know where that will be yet, but it will have a home here soon, and I'm excited to see how this is going to play out. Seems like we've got ourselves a pretty good race up to this point. These guys are being very relaxed, very calm, 2 very even, competitive, and safe lines of drafting as you are riding on board right now with the 44 of Anthony English, looking up at race leader Wes Hogue in that 38 machine as these guys work the bottom line down the Daytona Super Stretch. Pretty calm, pretty tame, pretty fun so far here, Paul. Looks like these guys are being well behaved. They know what's on the line tonight.
Yeah, lots of drivers tuning in to Slam Drafting with Liberty Racing here before we came on here at Daytona, and it's cool to kind of get all the mindsets of the championship drivers and some of the drivers that are on the outside. We're looking in, and a lot of the teammates and supporters and family and friends that are all kind of jumping in. We appreciate everybody jumping in the YouTube chat, in the Twitch chat as well. Not live on Facebook anymore because Facebook's giving us a hard time with some nonsense, but happy that you're here with us on the YouTube, on the Twitch. Give us a like, the subscribe, the share, all that good stuff, and let your friends and family know you're watching a championship race. One of these 4 drivers is going to leave with the championship belt. Rob Collier, highest running contender right now. He's up in 4th. Mark Mann back in 7th. Jax Duval holding on to just outside the top 10 there in the 13th position. And Michael Carpenter just kind of lagging back right now. You can see he is in good company. He's got teammates around him. Just being able to kind of take a step back. Kyle, you and I have both been there where you know it's a championship race. It's a high-caliber race, long distance, 80 laps on the board. We're 12 laps in, 13 as we cross the stripe here. You got to kind of back up a little bit. You got a front row seat to the entire field, and you know when it's going to start to get dicey. And you've got a little bit of drafting help to be able to kind of work your way back up through it. And a couple of those other guys up in the championship board may not necessarily have that same luxury, having dedicated teammates to kind of help you out with drafting. But there's a lot of drivers out there on the field, 24 of them to be exact. Looks like 23, Dan Withers is going to park it on pit road. He's coming out of pit road right now in that number 67 car, having some handling issues on that. But up front, a guy that's not having any issues so far, that 38 truck, Wesley Hogue, he's doing it happy. He's making it happen up front.
He sure is, Paul, and it's not really much of a surprise to see that. He has made it very known that he wants to get to victory lane, and now that he lost his opportunity at the championship, he was going to do anything in his power to do just that. He was oh so close last week. I believe it was 17 thousandths of a second that James Mayer edged him out by coming to the start-finish line at the iRacing Superspeedway last week in an amazing four-wide finish. That stung. He was not thrilled about that, but it shows that he has the capability to go to victory lane if just everything goes his way. And one of the best ways to try to get there is to just stay out in front the entire race, and that's exactly what he is doing. The NTO4 Racing boys dominating the field right now as he has his teammate Kevin West on the outside in that 17 machine leading the way. Oh, got a truck poking its nose into the middle there. Might have been a mistake because I ducked right back down. I think that was the 12 of Nick McClellan in his Toyota Tundra. So still 2x2 throughout the entire field. Lap number 14 goes into the books. Looks like this lead draft is roughly about 17 or 18 trucks. There's a couple of them lagging back off towards the back, like you said, some of those Warrior Motorsports trucks hanging out back there trying to make it to the end of this race and see what they can do to get Michael Carpenter the victory. It's interesting to see the mix of strategies. You got Michael Carpenter at the back, you have Rob Collier up at the front, Mark Mann is up in the front, Jax Duval is right in the middle there. So far, we're seeing a wide variety of strategic play from our championship Ford thus far.
And sometimes we've seen here on Verdane TV, especially with these super speedway races here, maybe the best spot is a little bit further on back, just a little bit outside of the action, because we saw a couple of weeks back here in the 1987 cars, we had some blowovers. We had 4 blowovers coming to the checkered flag. You can check that out over on the Verdane TV YouTube page. Check out the new shorts section. We've got ourselves the very first 12-pack of YouTube shorts, just some of the races and some of the fun calls that we've had over the past 3 years here at the Verdane TV or the Verdane TV that's kind of been around here. The shorts is something new we're throwing into it. You can check out Butterbean, Queen, the 03 car, winning himself a race here live on Verdane TV from a couple of years back. And lots of cool stuff. A lot of Liberty Racing. Trailer Park dude right there in the 17 truck. He had a run-in with the commitment cone there at the beginning of pit road earlier on in the season. That's going viral on TikTok. And speaking of TikTok, we're over there now. Verdane TV, do us a quick search up. You'll be able to see some of those shorts and a little bit of behind the scenes here at Verdane TV HQ. A little bit of gaming kind of thrown into the mix. And just a little bit of drinking here as well. But holding on to it, still NTO4 up front. Hogue holding on to the lead. The 17 truck up the trailer park. Team West, he is holding on to the top line. These guys a little back and forth, little side-by-side action up front. We're still 2x2 all the way through.
A lot of patience being given right now, a lot of cooperation throughout the field, and you have to start to think here, Paul, is that if we continue to get this race run under green, it won't be too long before we have to start thinking about green flag pit stops. Now, we've talked about green flag pit stops in this league before a lot with the 1987 Cup cars just because of how difficult that they are. I don't really anticipate that this will be too much of a challenge for them if they do have to make green flag stops. At this point, these guys are very familiar with pitting under green at the super speedways. These trucks do a really good job of slowing down. Really isn't all that challenging to get on. It's just the initial separation from the racetrack to the apron. You just have to make sure that everybody is kind of aware of where each truck is going to take their lane. And as long as they do that, they give themselves some space, it should be fairly easy to get on pit road for that green flag cycle. So, and that could be one of the most important factors of this race is if we continue to stay green flag for a long time, we typically see throughout these super speedway races that the pack shrinks during green flag stops. Not everybody has the same entrance speed. Not everybody has the same talent to get in and out of their pit stall super efficiently, so it separates the field up a little bit. And especially for Michael Carpenter and those Warrior Motorsports guys at the back of the pack, the pressure's on you to make sure that you get on and off pit road smooth, because you're already at a disadvantage being so far off from the front of the field. If you make a mistake there, that could cost you your opportunity at winning the championship.
and you can see that high line kind of breaking away just a little bit. Bunch of drivers kind of peeking down on the double yellow line. We're getting ready to cross the stripe here for lap number 20, so it wouldn't surprise me if we were getting ready to see some of those green flag pit stops here. Everybody trying to get down on the bottom, get that communication back and forth with your teammates, and there you see it. Wes Hogue going to lead them on down. Here comes the 17. Handful of other drivers coming down pit road here as well. So the first set of green flag pit stops is going to be the NTO4 drivers of Hogue and West. Donovan Gerald, the 24 truck down there. The 99 of Michael Rogers is there as well. And Dan Withers in the 67 car going to get himself some service as well.
Everybody gets their way into their pit stalls for service. The rest of the field now working their way off of turn number 2. It's Anthony English now up in front of the field with Rick Seabrands right behind. Mark Mann in position number 3. He runs side by side with Rob Collier right now. Now they're going to fall into line here going into turn number 3. We'll wait to see which wave of trucks will be the next ones to come down onto pit road. Most of the field right down around the double yellow line, and here we go. Seabrands, English, Mann, Collier, all driving down into pit road, ready to make their stops. I think we got Jason Foskey, and there are a whole bunch of trucks. Oh my goodness, that's the majority of the field right there. Laskoski is in. All kinds of drivers down on pit road for their first green flag stop of the night. I guess I picked a good time to talk about green flag stops because we were right on top of it. Let's see who can get in and out the most efficiently here. Everybody. Somebody just overshot. I think that was Jason Foskey in the 3 truck. He overshot his pit box, so that's not good. That's going to be a problem. Here comes the first wave of trucks coming off. Collier is rolling. Laskoski is rolling. English, Seabrands, they're all rolling. There's Mark Mann in the 04, racing their way back up to speed on the apron, and now it'll be time to see where they merge back in compared to that first group that just pit a lap ago.
There you can see the 49 car and truck. The 49 truck of Floyd. I'll figure it out here by 80 laps, I promise. The 49 truck holding on to the lead. Jax Duval, he's going to come down pit road up in the front. There you see him in the 49. He's going to come down here as well. Anthony English in the 44 truck leading the way. Rick Seabrands in there behind him. Championship duo Rob Collier, Mark Mann, they are 5th and 6th respectively. See if we can get in touch. There's Lasoski in the 83. Leon Keniston, haven't talked about him all night in the 933. He's up in the top 10. Jarrett Bolliard in the 97 gathering back up. There's Swope in the 82. Michael Carpenter, Donovan Gerald, all these other drivers that have already come down pit road. They almost came out right around the same grouping on the racetrack, but they're not put together very well here at this point. They're not very organized. This is a really good opportunity for TJ Floyd, Jax Duval to get on and off pit road very cleanly. You can see the 84, the 49 already down and away. Sometimes there's a little bit of an advantage when you come down pit road with fewer trucks. It was definitely super crowded, but you can see Lasoski in the 83. His train is hooked up. Those guys know they need to get going. They need to put some distance in between themselves and the leaders. And how about this? You look through the top 4 drivers, they're all going for a little Dr. Race Chaser money, but Rob Collier, Mark Mann, the 02, the 04, those guys are hooked up 5th and 6th. They're in this train. Michael Carpenter, he's going to gain big on that round of pit stop, all the way up 9 spots into the P10 spot, and Jax Duval doesn't quite have enough of the drafting help that he needed to get back up towards the top 10, but he's going to come back in 14th, and you can see he's still got that tail end of the draft there with that lead pack, so still able to pull himself back into this fight.
A very impressive job by everybody there getting that first round of green flag pit stops done and complete with very, very few issues. As you can see, the lead pack has definitely changed quite dramatically. As I mentioned, we have slimmed this field down to roughly 12 trucks up at the front here as Taylor Laskoski leads Leon Keniston. Looks like he's trying to work the outside line here. He's got some help from Keniston. He's got Jarrett Bolliard there and the 24 machine as well right on the back bumper. That is Donovan Gerald. As they come off of turn number 4, they will complete lap number 23. And as you mentioned, Paul, those guys all up at the front, unfortunately for Laskoski and Bolliard, they were eliminated after last week's race at the iRacing Superspeedway. They can't win a championship tonight, but they can pocket an extra $10. The Dr. Race Chaser bonus still very much active and alive for this season finale. And this is the race where I am absolutely the most outnumbered. There's only 4 guys that can win it, that can keep that $10 in my bank account. Everybody else is out here to try to steal my money away. So I got fortunate the first 2 weeks of the playoffs. Last week, not so much. Had to pay out James Meyer. We'll see what happens here this week, as as we know, only 4 trucks racing for the championship, so everybody else, that gives me what? That's, well, there was 24 that started, so there's a 20 out of 24 chance that I'm going to have to pay somebody some money.
33 and a third % chance that somebody's going to come home with a $10 bonus, and the numbers don't lie. Lap number 25 here at Daytona. Speaking of lap number 25, speaking of 25, 25% off this week only over at Vidane.net. We've got Liberty Racing shirts and tank tops and hats, stickers, all sorts of cool stuff. Rent a race car, Angry Tree Guy, Visual Pollution, all sorts of different brands over there. That championship code, CHAMP25, CHAMP25 gets you 25% off at checkout, and that is store-wide. Go check it out, www.vidane.net, and get yourself hooked up, and get yourself hooked up like this 84 truck is hooked up. Duval making a little noise up front, getting the lead here. He's going to cross the stripe, lap 26, side by side with Keniston in the 933. Give that lap lead to the 84 Duval.
That second pack after green flag pit stops, they did a really good job of working together and quickly caught the leaders. So now we are looking at roughly, well, basically right what we started again, that cycle. We're looking at about 17 to 19 trucks inside this lead pack, and Jax Duval-Krull has worked his way to the front of the field. Paul, I don't know about you, but I feel like Jax is coming in here as the ultimate underdog amongst this championship 4. He has not been to victory lane this season. Hasn't really had all that flashy of a season. He's just kind of done enough. He's been there. He's quietly worked his way into the field of this championship 4, and now he's got the opportunity to walk away with the championship belt. He's got his way to the front of the field. Still a long way to go, but it's looking good right now for the 84 machine to pull off the upset here and steal this championship away from some of these stout competitors throughout this season.
Running up front, letting everybody know that the 84 truck ain't nothing to mess with. Running up towards the front, leading laps side by side. In and behind him, Leon Keniston, 13 spots gained here on the night. Donovan Jarrell up 13 spots as well in that 24 truck up in the top 5. Jason Foskey had himself a massive run, has himself another massive run in that 3 truck, in that Oreo Ritz machine. I swear that 3 truck can see the air just like the Intimidator could.
He's running very well despite that mistake on pit road. Didn't cost him too much time as he works his way to the front of the field, chops right down in front of Leon Keniston with authority, leaves Nick McClellan up there high and dry, and the Oreo Ritz number 3 Chevrolet Silverado will go to the front of the field at the completion of lap number 27. Remember, you don't have to win the race in order to be the champion. You just have to be the highest finisher amongst the championship 4. And from what we've seen in the real world NASCAR in this format, at least in the Cup Series, hasn't happened yet. Every champion that has won the championship in this playoff format has gone on to win the race. It'll be interesting to see if that trend happens here tonight. And of course, it's a little more volatile probably than in real life because we're doing it on a super speedway. All of the elements of the draft, the randomness, the spontaneity, the unknown, the fears of super speedway racing are active, alive here tonight to help determine this championship field. They've done a wonderful job thus far. We're almost 30 laps in. We've had a green flag pit stop. Everybody racing very respectfully, very calm. Not a lot of big moves. There's been some passes and some good drafts and some blocks, but not really anything too aggressive just yet. They know. They realize what's on the line, whether they're racing for the championship or not. They know how important this race is here tonight, so that everybody wants to end the season on a high note. It sounds like there's going to be a lengthy break during the spring and the summer months here from this series once we finish things up tonight, so everybody wants to get out of here with a night to remember and hopefully make their trip to victory lane, especially for some of those guys who haven't done so yet this season.
Get a quick little text message from race official Dallas Seward. He's listening in to these drivers in-car radio, in-truck radio. Nobody wants to lead. Everybody's trying to save fuel here at this point. They know how clean this racing has been. They know they had that little bit of extra 30, 45 minutes of practice before the Slam Draft and Radio to get all lined up here earlier on before the race. And clean green racing, you can get about 20, maybe 22 laps on a tank of fuel, but you want to try and save as much as you can, because look at us last week. We had 2, almost 3 attempts at a green-white checkered, and with the end of that race, massive push there from the 933 of Kenniston into the back, the number 3 of Foskey, going to take over the lead, and the Hard Charger up in that number 12 truck, the Viagra truck up on the high side, almost contact there with the right side door of the 933. They get it all sorted out, and that high side trying to make a little momentum happen with those 4 trucks, but these guys know this race could go green from flag to flag. You want to save as much fuel as you can, and you want to save all those precious, precious milliseconds down on pit road. The less time you spend on pit road, the more track position you're able to make up on track.
Yeah, it's a really good point, Paul. With them pitting right around lap number 20, that would mean that if this goes green the entire way, they're going to try to make it on 3 stops. They would do it every 20 laps, so right around lap 20, right around lap 40, and then again around lap 60. Just depends on how far you can push that run. And then, as you mentioned, with guys not wanting to lead, that's because you burn more fuel when you're out in front of the field. You have to keep the throttle completely down. You don't have an opportunity to lift or anything like that, because if you do, you're going to stack up the field behind you, and it could cause issues. When you're in the draft, when you're closing in on other trucks, it gives you an opportunity to either run 75%, 80%, maybe even 60 or 50% throttle, so that way you're not burning as much fuel. Maybe gives you an opportunity to get some runs, and while you have those runs, you punch the clutch in, let the truck coast for a quick second, pop it out, and keep on rolling again. So this is going to be very interesting to see. And then you made a great point as well with the overtime finishes. The last 2 weeks, we have had overtime finishes. So it's very important that if we do go to overtime, you have enough fuel to make it through those laps. 2 laps doesn't sound like a lot of time, and it's really not. Of course, it's a super speedway, so you have opportunities to make passes, to get runs, and do some crazy stuff. But you would much rather be up at the front of the field coming to an overtime finish than at the back needing to make passes in one of the toughest opportunities of the race.
And you can see these drivers starting to get lined up down on the bottom side, still 7 laps away from the halfway marker here, but the field kind of spreading out here at this point, getting a little single file action down the middle on the 24 truck. The lone man up on the high side, the 17 truck of West going to take on over this one. We're having some great clean green flag racing here, and we actually talked to Dallas, the race control official, on Slam Drafting before the show, kind of got his viewpoint on seeing this racing happen here in the Liberty Racing Series on these super speedway racing races, and he made a really good point about how respectful the drivers are for the most part, 95% of the time, in the driver chat back and forth during the race, after the race, and all the different social media outlets as well. And one of the things he really made mention was, you don't really want to BS the race control guy, because I've got the access to the replays. We got the U-House Racing Designs instant replay up here in the broadcast booth. All you can see is your windshield from down there. So these drivers might have heard that just a little bit. You can see with that and a little bit of tidbit of information where these drivers are trying to save fuel, you can see everybody's just trying to not lead the race. It's wild.
Yeah, you're seeing a lot of rotation up at the front of the field. Jason Foskey had the lead. Kevin West had the lead at one point, and now Nick McClellan has the lead. You see those NTO4 guys, they are working the top side of the track now, maybe to try to just stay up at the front of the field, but cooperate with each other to try to save whatever fuel that they possibly can. The rest of the field still right down around the bottom of the racetrack, just cruising, logging laps, and seeing what they can do with this pit strategy game. 34 laps in the book, 6 laps away from the halfway mark, meaning we should be anywhere from 5 to 7 laps away from the second green flag pit stop cycle of this event. What a very different event we are seeing here, Paul. The majority of these races this season, especially in the playoffs, have just been pure adrenaline, straight up intensity, white knuckle racing. And now we're kind of starting to see things a little bit differently with this finale. It's kind of turning into a bit of a strategic super speedway race, which may not necessarily be the most entertaining thing to watch for certain people, but it's definitely delivering us a unique twist that I don't think either of us saw coming into this race prior.
Yeah, alluding to the season we've had so far here earlier on, it's been crazy to see all the different types of strategy. You and I were going back and forth last week, excited like a couple of schoolgirls, because man, oh man, we saw every style of super speedway racing in a matter of 80 laps last week at the iRacing Super Speedway, from tandem drafting to pack racing. We were 3x3, 6 rows deep, banging doors and fenders, and up into the outside wall, keeping it pointed straight, keeping the hammer down, and keeping the rubbers down on the ground. And these guys doing it once again here. A little bit of different strategy, though. We see these fuel mileage races every now and again, and these guys know that if they kind of back up a little bit and they kind of parade around here and maybe test out the draft, see how hard they can push without having to back off there, getting into turn 3 or 1 on the other side of the racetrack, they know that they got a little bit of time to study here. They've got a little bit of time to save some fuel, but I think the final 20 laps here, it's going to be all go for these drivers to get up front. 4 drivers fighting for the championship. Everybody else going for a cool, crisp $10 bill from Dr. Race Chaser. Jax Duval right now, the only championship driver in the top 5, in the top 10 for that matter, running in the 5th position. Rob Collier, 3 wins in the season in the O2 truck. He's back about mid-pack, a little bit outside the top 10. Currently in 12th, Batman in the 04. Markman is running in 15th, and Michael Carpenter back there with the little bit of security detail, it looks like, with the iRacing Motorsports group back towards the back of the pack, just kind of taking in the action up towards the front. And that might very well be the move of the race if this thing goes clean and green for 80 laps here, Kyle. Carpenter's been in the back, saving some fuel, taking his time out for a Sunday drive here in Liberty Racing. And you can see these drivers know they're getting 2-3 laps away from these green flag stops. Everybody going to try and jockey for position, get down to that double yellow line and make sure they get themselves a good, clean pit stop. And man, oh man, we saw probably about 15 trucks peel off in that second round of pit stops back on lap number 20, 21. So can we see it again? Can we get those good, clean, green flag pit stops? Or are we going to have ourselves a little bit of a mix-up?
I think the thing I'm going to be watching for the most here on this next cycle of green flag stops are the guys that had to pit first on that first cycle going to do the same thing again on this cycle. Guys like Kevin West and Wes Hogue, there were only a handful of them that came down on that first lap of cycles. The majority of the field came down on the second lap. But are they able to go a little bit further on this run and maybe help themselves out for that third run? Do those guys that pit the lap after the fact, the majority of the field, are they at an advantage because they went an extra lap first? So you would think that in theory they can go that extra lap the entire way. So it'll be really interesting to see how this plays out here. You see Jason Foskey jump down to the bottom side of the track. He was the last one to make the merge, so now the entire field running around the inside line, the double yellow line on the bottom of the racetrack. Well, as soon as I say that, Jared Bolliard pops up with Taylor Laskoski, and they're going to make a charge towards the front. Could be trying to work with those NTO4 guys and maybe make this pit strategy a little bit easier. And look at the run that they've got. They are charging through the field. How about this? Maybe that's just showing you how much those guys on the bottom side are saving, half throttle and cracking it. Because with ease, Jarrett Bolliard and Taylor Laskoski go to the front, and we've got our first truck making the pit stop. That's the 24 of Donovan Gerald. Not good for him. He is all alone as he makes his stop.
Yeah, Jared Bolliard going to take over the lead, like you said, in that 97 truck, 83 right in behind. They've got themselves some distance now. Nick McClellan going to be able to close that gap. Oh, Jax Duval on the 84 slides all the way up to the high side. He's going to be able to slide back down in front of the number 3 of Foskey. It looks like scary moment for the 84. You can see he's going to peek back out on the high side. And I've been in this situation before. I think you've been in this situation here before as well, where maybe you're not in the championship hunt. Maybe you want to get out there and win the race and lead some laps. And, maybe you're a guy like me who's usually outside the top 10, top 15. And you've got all these drivers up front that kind of want to get up there, and you just don't have enough momentum to get around. Green flag pit stops continue. McClellan, Foskey, Hogue, Keniston, West, everybody coming down pit road.
Man, Nick McClellan, he got a little sideways there coming in on entry, but he was able to make it happen. Hopefully, he was able to meet pit road speed by the time he got to the commitment cone. So as you said, we got Jason Foskey, Wes Hogue, Kevin West, Nick McClellan all coming down here on this second round of pit stops. It's happening right at the halfway mark. Lap number 40 is in the books. Jared Bolliard still leading this field with Taylor Laskoski and Jax Duval Crawl in tow. They will enter turn number 3, and we'll see what happens here as we come to turn number 4. We're going to get a driver's eye perspective here from Taylor Laskoski. Will they pit, and what will they do here? Coming off of turn number 4, they hit the apron. Now watch. As they downshift, they separate. Laskoski goes to the inside of Bolliard just so he doesn't run him over. They'll get sideways. They'll get slowed up to pit road speed. And nice, easy pit road entry. Great cooperation there between Bolliard and Laskoski. They'll make it down onto pit road, see the service of their pit crew for the second time. This happens on lap number 42. So if I'm these two drivers, it looks like I would think that these guys all have a good opportunity to make it on one more stop. I don't really feel too concerned about anybody not being able to make it here on 3 stops, but you just never know until it comes down to time. These guys have been trying to cooperate with each other, do some different things, get to where they need to be to make these pit stops efficiently, and now it'll be Anthony English and Rob Collier's turn potentially this time by to do the same.
And all these drivers pitting here every 20 laps or so, maybe every 21 laps, see 3, 4 cars peeling trucks, 5 trucks peeling back off. TJ Floyd going to stay out and lead himself a lap in the 49 truck. Might not have got that lap led last time by as everybody else. Mark Mann, Jimmy Reynolds, Rob Collier, Anthony English, Rick Seaburns all come down, get some service to their machines. Everybody that's kind of coming down every 20 laps, I think they can definitely make it to the finish here on one more stop, like you said, with 20 laps to go. The trick's going to be, are we going to see some guys maybe try and short pit? Can these guys make maybe 23, 22 laps on a tank of fuel, and they're just going to kind of stretch that last lap out and maybe gamble on potentially having those green, white, checkered finishes or attempts that we've had in the past couple of weeks here on Verdane TV in the Liberty Racing League, which you can see the 83 truck out front of this pack. And I don't see him scored as the leader, so we'll see back in 7th, it looks like. And you can see the other trucks coming back off pit road here. So Laskoski looks like he's going to take over the lead. TJ Floyd going to be the lone soldier down on pit road this time by. That's going to be a tough uphill battle for the rest of this one.
It really is. It's never good to pit alone. You want to have some type of drafting help when you make your stop. And he ran an entire lap by himself as well. So I would not expect TJ Floyd to be inside this lead group once we complete this cycle here. Laskoski, Bolliard, Hogue, Foskey, and West should be your top 5. And how about that, Paul? That is the entirety of the NTO4 racing team and their de facto teammate in Jarrett Bolliard. I'm pretty sure Bolliard's an independent in this league, but he's been working very closely with those NTO4 racing drivers. As you can see right there, the lime green truck of TJ Floyd gets hung out. They blow by him with ease. So that'll definitely hurt TJ Floyd a little bit here. He'll have to try to find some drafting help and see what he can do to stick up with the front of the field. But I think the most important part right here, Paul, is take a look at the back of that lead pack. That's Jax Duval-Crawl. Now, not too far back, you've got Anthony English, Rob Collier, and I believe that's Jimmy Reynolds back there as well. Or no, that's actually Mark Mann. Excuse me. Mark Mann in the 04 truck. So the only Championship 4 driver in this lead pack is Jax Duval-Crawl. He does have Mark Mann a little ways behind. He's hoping that group of 6 trucks up there will actually make that 7 trucks. They're hoping that they can work together very, very well and try to pull themselves away. Because if it comes down to a green flag pit stop here, one more if we stay green, if he's in the lead draft, he's got nothing to worry about. As long as the caution stays in, he will be the champion. But of course, we still have a long ways away before we get to that moment. You're riding on board with Wes Hogue. Taylor Laskoski has just dropped to the back of this lead draft from the lead. That will put Jarrett Bolliard up at the point in his number 97 Lunai Toyota Tundra, running the paint scheme that Tyler Ankrum runs in the Real World NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Ankrum coming off of a 4th place finish at Circuit of the Americas this past weekend. Bolliard trying to do him a little bit better with that scheme and try to take it to victory lane here at the World Center of Racing.
That second pack starting to kind of close up on that first pack. Batman there in the 04 truck, Mark Mann, he left that second pack. He rejoined the first pack almost all by himself, and you can see he's going to bring that second pack back up with him here. So working lap number 46, a great big train of about 20 trucks all hooked up. All the championship contenders are within the top 15. Jax Duval up front, he is running in 6th. Mark Mann in 9th. Rob Collier 12th. Michael Carpenter back in 15th. And you can see everybody up in this lead pack as far as championship contenders are concerned. And that pretty much means anybody's still eligible to win this race. We've seen some crazy finishes here on Verdane TV, especially on these Super Speedway races. As you see, Jarrett Bolliard in a 97 truck showing he's still a contender. Still able to win races in this Super Speedway. Made it to the playoffs, but did not make it to the Final Four here at Daytona. Going to try and end the season on a high note. Carry that momentum all the way through the end of April. April 30th going to be the big shebang, the big show, the Vidane.tv 200, presented by Conway Customs, and you heard it right here on Slam Drafting with Liberty earlier on tonight. That race can be broadcasted right here on Vidane TV. And Kyle, I've had the discussion with Wes. I've had mentioned it a little bit earlier. That's going to be Spring Sizzler weekend at Stafford Motor Speedway. Sunday afternoon, Sunday night. I don't know if I'm going to be in any kind of condition to put up a good fight, but we're going to make sure that we try and entertain the masses and get some racing action out to the airwaves. And oh, by the way, we got a little bit of hardware got hooked up from Conway Customs. Ashton Reiki jumping on and knocking that on out. I have heard that hardware has been boxed and is getting ready to get shipped from the Maritimes in Canada. And there you see it, the 97 truck. That's something we don't see very often. Derek Bolliard giving up the lead. We heard that text message from Dallas Race Control earlier on. He's hearing these drivers don't want to lead. They want to try and stick in behind somebody else and draft just a little bit, be able to kind of burp the throttle and save all the fuel that they possibly can for the end of this race. So the 97 truck backing up just a little bit, and he's going to put a little bit of gap between he and the 17 truck of West.
Well, and I think that's where these NTO4 guys are really going to benefit here, is that the majority of their team are up at the front of the field. So they can kind of rotate through a little bit. They can allow some of their guys to save a little fuel. And then when the leader is ready to do the same, they're ready to cooperate a little bit, he can jump up to the outside, let a few trucks go by, and then the guy in the back can let him in, and they can kind of keep the rotation going during this run. So that way everybody has an opportunity to save fuel, but they're also not hurting themselves entirely by keeping one truck out in front and burning up max fuel during this entire run. So that's a very interesting strategy that these guys are pulling off right here. We'll see how it pays off in about 10 to 12 laps here, is that when we should see the final green flag pit stop cycle. One thing to make note that I think is very important, Paul, we saw at the beginning of that last fuel run, Donovan Gerald came down and pit by himself. We saw at the end of the fuel run that TJ Floyd came down and pit by himself. Guess who are the only two trucks to have lost the lead draft after that second run? Donovan Gerald and TJ Floyd. So I think that is a big note that these guys need to keep in the back of their heads. It's like, okay, no matter what we do here on this final pit stop, we need to pit with somebody, because if we pit by ourselves, we will lose the lead draft. This was a 19 truck lead draft prior to pit stop cycle number 2. It is now a 17 truck pack after the cycle went through, and the only two trucks that dropped off were the two trucks that tried to pit solo. So that is very important to cooperate. Find somebody. Maybe if it's not a teammate, just find somebody to pit with, so that way you can keep yourself in the lead draft after this final cycle. This is going to be the important one. You want to be in the lead draft once you leave pit road and get regrouped here once you make this final cycle, because who knows, if they go clean and green to the end, this last pit stop could be the difference between winning a championship and watching somebody else win it instead.
Great shots all the way around this Daytona International Speedway with the iRacing service. Awesome to have TrackCams 22 on board, giving us these beautiful camera angles. Check them out, trackcams22.com. Downloadable cameras here for the iRacing service. Wes Hogue going to dip back into third there. And you can see Foskey going to take over the lead. Kevin West in second, Hogue third, Bolliard fourth, and Leon Keniston, actually check that. Nick McClellan going to move on up into the top 5. Jax Duval, championship contender. He's running in 7th. Mark Mann back in 10th. Rob Collier, 13th. Still hanging out at the back there in 16th, holding on to it. Maybe saving a little bit of fuel as he's been back there with his teammates all evening long here. Uneventful, not very chaotic race here. We've been clean and green for 52 laps. Great, good, clean green flag pit stops. Everybody coming down. We've seen some big packs come down. A couple of drivers come by solo, and kind of showing that if you do that, you're going to lose the draft in a big way. 12 seconds on back for TJ Floyd, 32 seconds for Donovan Gerald back in that 24 truck. You can see McClelland on the number 12 truck, going to go up to the high side and push that 67 truck up there. That's Dan Withers down a lap or two, trying to stay on the lead lap. Going to jump in front of Foskey here, and this might very well be a good opportunity for the pack to kind of catch up, because now they've got somebody not on the lead lap out front. They might be able to save some fuel off again.
Yeah, that's a very interesting little development there. Dan Withers 2 laps down. He's now 1 lap down as he paces in front of the lead draft. That's really good if you're Jason Foskey. You are the official race leader of this thing, racing side by side with Mick McClellan. But now you have a truck in front of you. It doesn't really hurt him in this point. He's got an opportunity to save a little fuel here before this run, maybe push it an extra lap or two, and really give himself an opportunity to set himself up well for the end of this race in case we do go to overtime. Now, that really is going to be something that these guys are going to have to manage here, because we know that track position is important when it comes to a super speedway towards the end of the race. So if we get a caution with 4, 5, 3 laps to go, do you come in and top off to make sure that you are definitely good to go until the end and sacrifice that track position? Or do you stay out, take the risk, and try to keep yourself towards the front of the field to do what is best for you to go to victory lane? Doesn't seem like these lead lap trucks are all that thrilled about wanting to have the lapped machine of Dan Withers up front. Nick McClellan and Jason Foskey jump to the top side. McClellan has been up in that top side ever since he pushed Withers up to the front. He's got a little help from Foskey, but now Foskey will drop down to the inside line and leave him out there to dry all on his own. Despite the fact that he's been out there by himself, he really hasn't lost too many spots because, as we've mentioned, these guys are fuel saving right now. They're not pushing it at 100%. They're just trying to coast around here, make it to this next stop, and then you're going to start to see the intensity ramp up in the final 20-lap stint. Lap number 54 will go on the board here this time by. That gives us 26 laps of racing left to go. Should be somewhere around 6 to 8 laps from the final green flag pit cycle to happen, and then that's when we're really going to want to strap in and go racing, because it should be all out from there.
One more pit stop to go in this one, potentially coming up within the next 5 laps or so. Some may even try and come down sooner, get on and off pit road before it gets busy. You can see the field lined up on that double yellow line all the way down on the bottom. Kevin West holding on to the lead, Wes Hogan second, Nick McClellan back to third, Foskey and Bolliard going to be the top 5 as they come into 3 and 4. The 67 truck out front. Getting a little TV time there for Dan Withers in that 67 Silverado. 1 lap down right now, kind of on the tail end of the second lap down. Trying to get that 1 lap back the hard way. Got a big push from the 3 truck to get him on up there. 25 laps to go in this one. And the 17 truck out front in at Daytona.
Well, and you have to think, too, it is a bit of a strategic move for Dan Withers to be out in front of the field now that he is now 1 lap down. If the caution flag were to come out, he would be in position for the free pass and put himself back on the lead lap. Now, he only has a few laps to really enjoy that benefit, because these leaders are closing in on a 3-truck pack of Don Ashton, David Watson, Michael Rogers. However, with him leading this pack, that will allow him to bypass those drivers if they get a run and decide to make that pass. So he could still put himself in position for that free pass once they go, or actually no, as I'm thinking about it, he would have to do that again because they would still be on the lead lap as he is passing them. So scratch that theory. He's going to need a caution flag here within the next few laps before they lap those trucks, or else he is going to be stuck outside of the free pass position. So a little bit of a different strategic move going on for Dan Withers compared to what we've seen throughout the rest of the field, as that looks like we got a couple Warrior Motorsports trucks making a push on the top side to get to the front before this cycle begins.
Somebody just told Warrior Motorsports that there's 25 laps to go. That 5 truck is coming. Carpenter looks like he is confident. He has saved himself enough fuel. He's got the 82 truck. His teammate, Matt Swope, he made it to the playoffs, didn't make it to the Final Four. He's all over the back bumper of his teammate. You can see the number 7 truck back just a little bit further. Frederick Durstock ready to jump on board. He's going to get it run up on the high side. But how about that? Michael Carpenter lagging back for the first 3 quarters of the race. He's going to go from the back to the front in a matter of a lap with the help of his teammate. He's going to lead with 23 laps to go.
The Warrior Motorsports trio of Michael Carpenter, Matt Swope, and Frederick Durstock have made their way to the front of the field. They want to take this final green flag pit cycle in control of the race to do what they can to get the regular season championship, the big championship. Remember a couple weeks ago, Paul, that race at Talladega, where Michael Carpenter was 2 laps down with 20 laps to go, found a way to get back on the lead lap, and finished in 4th We thought he was out and dead in the water. He found a way to advance, and here he is with 22 laps to go in the season finale, leading the field with an opportunity to win this championship. What a story that would be if he is able to do it. I'm sure that is still an event that he has in the back of his mind. He knows that was a massive turning point in his chance to win this championship.
Definitely got the confidence boost that he needed. With that boost, a little bit of drafting help, a whole lot of drafting help that he got from his two teammates in behind, Swope and Durstock, running 1, 2, and 3. You saw the NTO4 guys kind of bunch up on the high side, like, hey, did you see that? Let's try that. But then they kind of tucked back in to the bottom side. Here's the other two NTO4 guys, Bullard in the 97, Lasoski in the 83. They're going to come up on the high side and show them that they know how to tandem.
Got a handful of trucks making pit stops here. These look to be some drivers off of the lead lap. So not a major impact on the outcome of the race just yet, but you know that it is coming. We are on lap number 60, 20 laps to go when we hit the start-finish line. The pit cycle is just about here, and that is why you're starting to see these guys make a push towards the front of the field. It's easier to get on pit road when you have fewer trucks in front of you. You want as much space as possible to get that truck back down to pit road speed and have as minimal issues as you can, especially towards the end of this race, knowing that this is the money stop. This is the one that matters the most. Bulliard and Laskoski, they are struggling now after making some progress on that top side 1 lap ago. You can see Jack Duval crawl, trying to get that draft off the back bumper of Taylor Laskoski, maybe jump up a few more positions before he makes his pit stop. And there it is. Lap 60 goes in the books. 20 laps to go. Oh boy, Paul, it's getting crunch time now. The championship is on the line. That belt is needing an owner. We got somebody in the wall up in front. The 52 truck. He gets it rolling. He still stays green. Don Ashton, scary moment there as the field comes to lap him, but we're all good as we roll down the Daytona Super Stretch.
Woo, makes your heart skip just a little bit. Skip a beat. I don't know why I just combined like 4 words there. English language, sometimes I struggle with it. Michael Carpenter still holding on to the lead. You can see he's still got his teammates in behind him coming into turns 3 and 4. 20 to go. Going to be 19 when we cross the stripe. When are these drivers going to come down for this final stop? Here comes the NTO4 drivers. They're all going to come down. Kevin West, Hogue, Taylor Lasoski, Foskey, Jarrett Bolliard, they're all down on pit road. They're going to get their final service of the evening, and Carpenter, Swope, Durstock, they're going to stay out and lead themselves a lap. Looks like they may be picking up another teammate in here.
Those drivers will make their way to their stalls for the final time. The Warrior Motorsports trucks will lead the field down the back straightaway and see when they make their stop to come in for the final time here at Daytona. They've got 3 of them, and then a bit of a separation back to Leon Keniston there in position number 4. They make their way around Dan Withers, who already made his stop. Let's see if this is the lap for the Warrior Motorsports trucks. They come off of 4, and it sure is. They duck down onto the apron. Hard on the brakes, shifting gears down. Whoa, we got some trucks moving in the back there, scattering a little bit, but they figure it out. No contact. Everybody on the pit road nice and safely there. They'll slow down to 55 miles per hour, roll their way into their pit stalls, and see the attention of their pit crews for the final time. Michael Carpenter comes in safely. Right side tires are up for that number 5 Chevy Silverado. The right sides will drop. Crew works their way to the left, and they are gone. Right side tires only for the Warrior Motorsports guys, filling those trucks up with fuel. Jimmy Reynolds is going to come out in front of them. Mark Mann is in front of them. Anthony English. So the Warrior Motorsports guys, they led pit road, but they will not leave coming off. They've got some traffic in front of them. Let's see where they will blend in compared to the NTO4 guys.
18 laps to go. You got enough fuel to the finish. Now you go. Now this is where it's going to get a little bit squirrely. Here comes the 17 truck all by his own. Going to pass these drivers down. It looks like he's going to inherit the lead by himself. The rest of his teammates just a little bit further on back. And you can see almost a perfect blend with these guys coming off pit road. The guys that came down last time by. Everybody knows they can make it to the scheduled distance here with this final pit stop. Kyle, we've been saving fuel the entire race. Do these guys know how to go here with less than 20 laps to go?
Oh, I think they're going to know how to go, Paul. They've been doing this every week for the last 4 or 5 months on Tuesday nights. They know very well how to go, and that go time is now. 17 laps to go in this season finale. Wes Hogue has worked his way to the front. He has teammate Taylor Laskowski right behind him. Jared Bolliard is third. Jason Foskey in fourth. And your championship leader right now in position number 5, Mark Mann. Second truck on the outside as Wes Hogue jumps to the top there to try to get a draft from them. Mann is going to go to the inside and leave Hogue high, wide, and alone on the back straightaway. Now here comes Jared Bolliard. He will jump up to the top side to try to get the push from Mark Mann to go to the race lead into turn number 3.
Bolliard up high, the 04 truck there as well. Laskowski losing a little bit of ground there on the bottom side in the number 83 truck. DeForest Seabrans is up in the mix as well. Michael Carpenter back in 11th. Rob Collier, Jax Duval both outside the top 10. 17 laps to go, 16 when we cross the stripe. Bolliard, a familiar spot up front, leading the race in the 97 truck. Mark Mann in behind him. He's got a teammate with Seabrans in behind him, and that was the game plan for the entire evening. Talking to Mark Mann earlier on Slam Drafting with Liberty. Wanted to get hooked up with his teammates and win this race, win this championship belt for his team and for himself, and put that beautiful championship belt up over his shoulders. And man, we saw another good shot of that earlier on with Wes Hogue bringing that thing in and giving us a good shot of it. That belt is so gorgeous, beautiful, shiny, polished metal. Great to have it on board. 15 laps to go when we get to the stripe. We're right back where we started, Kyle. 2x2 all the way through. Hammer down. This is going to be a blast.
Riding on board with Jared Bolliard. He leads the top side with a drafting help from Rick Seabrands. Mark Mann down on the bottom. He is leading the race. He is leading the championship. Taylor Laskowski on his bumper. Jason Foskey, Kevin West, and Jimmy Reynolds make up the first 5 trucks down on the bottom side of the track. 15 laps remain here at Daytona. Everybody's still playing pretty nicely. Laskowski jumps up to the outside line in front of Bolliard to try to take the race lead. Bolliard all over the back. That leaves a gap for Mark Mann out the rear view mirror to Jason Foskey. Foskey is getting the run. He will close in, but not before Laskowski will clear. Will he drop to the bottom? He does, very slowly, leaving Bolliard to hang on the top side with Seabrands on his bumper. So Taylor Laskowski goes to the race lead here. 14 laps to go when they hit the stripe, and now Mark Mann is the pusher instead of the pushy.
And you can see 16 trucks still up in the mix in this one. We've been clean and green all night long. 3 sets of green flag pit stops. No issues all over the racetrack. It has been a phenomenal race. Lots of fuel strategy going into this one. But that fuel strategy got erased with that last pit stop. Everybody having enough to make the scheduled distance. If we get ourselves 2, maybe 3 of those green-white checkered attempts, maybe you might see some drivers come on down pit road and get topped off. But for right now, if we're shooting for lap number 80, these guys have all the tools that they need. They've got the drawing plans. They've got the battle plans. 17 weeks in the trenches, 16 points paying races, and here we are, the championship race trucks at Daytona, and we are down to 4 drivers that are capable of winning that championship belt. One of them right now leading the race, the 04 truck of Mark Mann. The other 3 championship contenders, they're back there somewhere. They're actually 11th, 12th, and 13th. Rob Collier, Michael Carpenter, and Jax Duval right outside the top 10. Running out of time here, Kyle. 13 laps to go here at Daytona.
Yeah, all 4 of our championship contenders, they are in this lead draft. The majority of them, though, like you mentioned, towards the back of the pack. So now you got to start to get the brain working. Okay, how can I make it up to the front of this field knowing that Mark Mann is leading this deal? We haven't seen a lot of that third line in play here tonight, so I don't know if that line is an option and they just need the numbers, or if it's really just too far out there for what these trucks can do on this racetrack. We've seen 2 wide throughout the field at most when they've decided to race. So not really sure what the 3 wide angle would be. I guess maybe they have to jump up there and try it, or they can find a way to slice through the field with it being double wide. 12 to go now. Mark Mann out in front of this field, leading Taylor Laskowski on the bottom side. Jared Bolliard and Rick Seabrands lead the top side. I want to make quick mention, I don't know exactly what happened during that previous cycle there of stops, but for whatever reason, Nick McClellan in the 12 machine, he has retired from this event. We got trucks bouncing off of each other down the back straightaway, starting to get a little racy. Leon Kenniskin, he gets shoved out to dry. Does he have a hole behind Hogue to fit in? He does. Kind of squeezes in front of Donovan Jarrell. Well, he got a break because Jarrell went to the bottom side of the racetrack there with Rob Collier. So that works out in Keniston's favor there quite well. Lap number 69 goes into the books. Jarrett Bolliard back out in front by a nose.
Kyle, this is going to be a wild finish. Mark Mann, highest running championship contender. He's up on the front row right now in that O truck, being scored as the leader side by side with Jarrett Bolliard. The other championship contenders, they're all back here with Michael Carpenter in the 5-car truck, Rob Collier, Jax Duval. He's right in the mix as well as the Warrior Motorsports trucks. And we saw what happened midway through this race. They all got hooked up behind the number 5 truck and pushed Carpenter all the way up to the lead. If that happens again, there's an opportunity for Collier and Duval to hook up to that Warrior Motorsports train and bring themselves all the way up to the front of the pack. And that may very well be the third line that comes into play with less than 10 laps to go. Coming to it now, 10 to go from Barney in the flag stand.
Lap number 70 goes on the board. So here we go. We are in the final 10 laps of this event. What do these guys around Mark Mann do? They've got Mark right in the front of this field. You know that everybody around them wants to win as well. Everybody wants to be the last winner of the season, especially when there's some extra cash on the line. But you don't want to ruin Mark's championship hopes. He has done things very well on that last green flag cycle. He is in front of the lead of this field right now. His closest championship competitor is in 11th, outside of the top 10. So he has plenty of space around him to work with right now. It's just how aggressive does everybody else be trying to win the race, knowing that he is right there trying to win the championship. It's that balancing act of focusing on yourself, but looking at the big picture, even though you are not in it. I know that those guys around Mark Mann, they want to win. Jarrett Bolliard was not happy last week getting eliminated. He had a rough week at iRacing Super Speedway, and he came here to Daytona to win this race and nothing else. So you know he's going to be trying. Taylor Laskowski, he's a fierce competitor as well. I'm sure he wants to do everything he can to end this season off on a high note. He wants to win. He doesn't want to be part of the issues if any are to break out, but you know he's going to be giving it his all, especially when he has teammates lined up right behind him on the bottom row.
Jax Duval doing some shopping, going high, wide, and handsome, gets himself a run, and oh my goodness, what a run. Doesn't have any help in behind him. He's trying to use a little bit of side draft action.
Oh, there he goes.
933. Keniston going to jump up. The Warrior Motorsports going to make it high, wide, and handsome as well. They're going to choose between that middle and high line. Jax Duval, he knows it is down to the nitty-gritty. Single digits, 8 laps to go in the season. Holy moly, Kyle, 3 wide for the lead. 2 of them are championship contenders. Have you ever?
There's only 3 trucks on that outside lane, but they're damn near in the lead. They lose a little bit of momentum through turn number 2. Jax Duval, Crawl, Leon Keniston, and Rob Collier right up against the safer barrier trying to make a charge. I made mention just a few moments ago we haven't seen that outside line at all tonight, and here it is, and it's damn near working. Duval is almost into the race lead, but the inside line, the shorter way around, it prevails through turns 3 and 4. 73 laps in the books when they hit the stripe. The Warrior Motorsports trucks, they're still back there. Carpenter's leading the way. He's kind of bouncing in between the middle lane and the top side. He doesn't know which one to go with. He's boxed in either way. He can't find a charge to pass anybody for the championship because of where he's at. But he needs to try to find a way to get through the field at some point. It's just trying to figure out which lane is the best one for him to use.
And right now, everybody seems to be evenly matched, but we still have 6 laps to go. Getting down to the final couple of laps, and you can see that high side is doing everything they can. Big push from the 933. You can see damage on almost all 4 sides of that race truck, doing everything he can. Bright blue chrome wheels on that thing, pushing the 84 of Jax Duval Crawl. The Florida Gators truck, big wiggle from the 84. He holds on to it. They keep going. They're still 3 wide for the lead.
They are swerving and swaying on that outside line, and now the Warrior Motorsports duo of Michael Carpenter, and I believe that is Matt Swope, have jumped up to the outside lane, making it 5 trucks on the very top side. They're not finding any extra momentum just yet as everybody starts to sway in the middle and the bottom lanes. This is getting fierce. 5 laps to go when they hit the stripe. Mark Mann still doing everything he needs to on the bottom side of the track. He has the advantage of that being the shortest way around. Whoa, Duval gets a bad bump from Keniston, and he door slams Bolliard. Everybody hangs on 3 wide. We are racing now at Daytona. Paul, strap in. Barney the Flagger going to show him a handful this time by off of turn number 4. Mark Mann leads the way. On the bottom, Bolliard in the middle, Duval on the top. 5 laps of racing left in this season.
Oh, contact! Whoa, down to the
Oh, there we
hard
go.
into the outside wall.
Michael Carpenter is involved in a big way. The Warrior Motorsports trucks are Fred Durstock, and I think Matt Swope is there as well. First caution flag of the night comes out, and it has a major impact on the Championship 4.
Black smoke coming out of the back of that number 5 truck. May still have almost some contact there with double nines, but he gets sorted out. The 5 truck may have to come down and use a quick repair. May still have a dog in the fight, but going to be an uphill battle. We'll see if we can take a peek at the Newhouse Racing Designs instant replay. And man, oh man, was it a wild one. We almost made the comment that Barney in the flag stand had his hand on that yellow flag because he knew, holy moly, look at that corkscrew flip. Warrior Motorsports, 4 trucks involved in this one. And Michael Carpenter having some engine problems after that.
Yeah, that one started up at the front of the field. I think it was with the 933 of Leon Keniston and the 4 of Rick Seabrands. Keniston was the immediate drafting help for Duval on the outside lane. And this is not something you like to bring up at all when it comes to the iRacing world, but it happens. Watch. Netcode. Between the 933 and the 4, there was plenty of space between those 2 trucks. But iRacing registered contact. It sent the 4 trucks scattering. He got sideways. Anthony English got a tap from behind. They came down into Wes Hogue, and then English comes back up the racetrack. And when he does, Michael Carpenter is there, immediately hooks the 44 into the wall. He gets stuck, he flips, and then Matt Swope and Frederick Durstock, they're just kind of collateral, unfortunately getting caught up in that as well. Then you had the 54 machine. So yeah, all 4 Warrior Motorsports trucks get involved. And look at that flip by Anthony English. He launches that deal into the air, flips it. That's got to be 4 or 5 flips in the air before he lands down in the infield grass. A tough break there for Anthony English. He had a pretty good truck tonight, running up towards the front for the majority of it. But the big story out of this one, Michael Carpenter, Championship 4 driver, involved in this crash. Now, the good thing, as per every race, still the same rules. You have a fast repair. He has used that fast repair, but the problem is that he's at the back of the field, and we are only going to have a few laps left in this race.
One of the things we saw earlier on, though, that 5 truck got a massive push from all of his teammates in behind him, made it from the back of the pack to the top of the pack in a matter of a lap. Now, keep in mind that is, in fact, when we were trying to save fuel earlier on, not knowing what the end of the race was going to hold. Now everybody's come down under pit road here with less than 20 laps to go. Should have enough for at least 1 green-white checker here, which we may have a little bit of overtime here. You can see the 24 truck going to get a wave around, lights still on top of the iRacing Pace truck. So we got a moment to catch our breath and really set things up for this championship run here. It's going to get less than 3 laps to go, 2 laps to go when we take that green flag. Mark Mann, championship contender, up in the front. He's leading this race. He's been up there for most of the show. Jax Duval been all throughout the field once or twice each way. The 84 truck is in 3rd. Rob Collier back in 7th up into the top 10. And Michael Carpenter, involved in that wreck, was able to use that quick repair, 1 quick repair for each of these trucks per race, came down pit road, got it all sorted out. It's going to restart in 12th, it looks like. A couple of drivers still in the garage area, still in pit road, trying to get some of the damage worked out on those trucks. But 16 trucks here on the lead lap, Kyle. Top 4 championship contenders. Still ready to rock and roll. Still able to make this magic happen. And here at Daytona, in these super speedway races that you and I have called here on Verdane TV, especially with this Liberty Racing crowd, these last lap finishes have been absolutely phenomenal. Had to bust on Wes earlier on when we were on Slam Draft, and yeah, we saw Kevin West go below the yellow line to make that last lap pass, but nobody was paying attention down there because everybody was watching the 4 trucks side by side by side by side, and Wes Hogue missed it by just that much. And he's going to try and win it here tonight, but he's going to have to restart from 9th. iRacing Pace Truck says lights out. Lining them up 2 by 2 all the way through 04, 83. They're going to be on the front row.
So this is going to be a little interesting here, Paul. If I'm looking at the server correctly, we only have 1 attempt at a green, white, checkered finish here. I'm not seeing any numbers after the GWC sign up at the top left corner of my iRacing screen. So no matter what happens here, this is it. So this is how it works. We've been explaining it week in, week out. It's just how it goes, okay? Green, white, since this is the only one, we will go green, we will go white, we will go checker. Now, that is if we make it. If the caution flag comes out on the first lap, the race is over. And wherever things settle, that is how it will finish coming across the line the next time by. If they make it to the white flag, we will not see the caution flag for that final lap. No matter what happens on that last lap, they will race it out to the finish. So here we go. This is it. For the season, for the championship, last opportunity. Mark Mann leading the way, leading the championship, but look right behind him, Paul. A championship rival, Jax Duval-Crawl. The ultimate underdog is in position to possibly spoil the riches of Mark Mann.
Let's freaking go. Green flag getting ready to fly. There it is. Popsicle sticks as well. 2 laps to go on the season. Who is leaving this racetrack with that championship belt and heading into WrestleMania weekend with that belt up over top their shoulder? Mark Mann doing everything he needs to. Down the bottom side, contact 84 and 4.
There they go! The field implodes behind them. There was contact with Jax Duval-Crawl initially. They spun and crashed behind him, and that will bring out the caution flag once again. Now, I see in the server chat that they just said it will be extended for a green, white, checker for a second time, but I still don't see anything up in the top for multiple numbers. We'll see what happens here, but you can see the replay of the crash. There was some bad bump drafting on the bottom side. It looked like it may have happened from Collier. Collier may have pushed Jason Foskey into the back of Duval. Well, actually, no, I think it starts with Duval. Duval gets into the back of Mark Mann. Foskey gets into the back of Duval. They get squirrely. Collier gets caught up in it. Hogue gets in it. And then some contact between Collier and Foskey shoots them both up to the racetrack. They all crash and spin. And the only two that survive from the front of the field are Taylor Laskowski and Mark Mann. Oh, boy. Big crowd. Look at Rob Collier on top of Rick Seabrans and TJ Floyd in turn number 2 there. A wild, wild crash that may have just finished this one off.
And there you see the Nexus Sim Racing number 02 of Rob Collier. I don't believe he's got a quick repair left. We may have one. Ooh, big contact between the 28 and the 99. But Collier going to have an uphill battle here tonight. And Kyle, one of the reasons you're not seeing the number next to the GWC there in the old iRacing chat, Dallas hooking us up with the text messages from Race Control per race officials, unlimited GWC attempts here tonight at Daytona.
Okay.
We will crown ourselves a champion.
Okay, all right. Well, that's new to me. I don't think I've ever seen the iRacing server be set up for an unlimited number of green, white checkers. So massive appreciation to Dallas Seward there for that information. And I got to say, I'm going to take this opportunity right now since we have a few more moments under caution. Dallas hasn't been a part of this league for very long, maybe about a month or so. I think maybe 2 races before the playoffs started, he came in to do the race control work. I want to give him a public shout out because his work has been immaculate as race control. He stepped in to try to take some of the weight off of Wes Hogue for doing multiple roles throughout this season, being a driver, being the head admin, trying to be race control. It's very difficult to do all of that in one sitting while you're racing in the heat of the moment, trying to work on a championship and winning races. Dallas has come in and he has been money all the way through. So a massive, massive shout out to Dallas Seward. He has been a great race control administrator in this league since he's been a part. His work definitely will not go underappreciated. Has helped make these playoffs as smooth as possible, and especially for the controversial situation last week with Kevin West, he played a big role in providing some really great analysis in that, being upfront and honest, because he's got no skin in this game. He doesn't have friendships or connections or anything. He's just here to do the job, enforce this league the way that it should be done, and he has done that the entire way through. So I felt like it was very fitting and appropriate for us to be able to do that before we sign off on the air for this season here tonight.
100%. We even got to talk to Dallas earlier on before the race here on Slam Drafting with Liberty, just to kind of get his insight on what it's like to be kind of a race control, race official type deal, not really having a dog in the fight per se, but being able to come in black and white. These are the issues, and hey, you know what? He let all these drivers know that I've got the replay button. I can watch this from every which angle, and the only way you guys can see it is through your windshields of the cockpit of these simulated trucks. So don't mess with race control. He means business, and he's been doing an awesome job. We applaud and we thank Dallas for jumping on board here with us at Liberty Racing. And man, Kyle, we just had half a dozen or so trucks come down pit road. Michael Carpenter has gained a whole bunch of spots. He's going to restart in 5th in that number 5 truck once we get going. Jax Duvall up to 7th. Rob Collier involved in that one. He's going to restart in 11th. It looks like he did, in fact, have himself a quick repair, still able to be able to get that thing back out. 14 trucks, 15 trucks if you count Jimmy Reynolds on the lead lap. This is going to get wild.
I was just going to make mention of that number 5 truck, Michael Carpenter. We said it earlier in the show. 2 weeks ago, he had a dramatic come-from-behind attempt to advance into the round of 8 for last week's race. After being down 2 laps late in the going, he had absolutely everything that could have gone wrong for him that race. It did. He crashed like 3 or 4 times. He ended up flipping coming across the start-finish line, but he finished in 4th and made the transfer in. We just saw him in a disasterful wreck just about 10 minutes ago. He's got that clean truck, and he's right back in the mix. He's 5th place. 2 rows in front of him is the race lead and the championship lead. So do not count Michael Carpenter out yet. The regular season champion may still have one last come-from-behind attempt to take all the glory here tonight. So we'll re-rack him and we'll redo him again. Now that I know what the rules are, thank you again, Dallas. Unlimited attempts at a green-white checkered. If we make it to the white flag, the caution stays in its holster. We will race to the finish. If the caution comes out on the first lap, we will re-rack him again and we'll do it over. And we'll do it as many times as we have to. I like that change for this finale, guaranteeing us that some way, somehow, some form, no matter how many times it takes, we will have a green flag finish to end this season off.
Pace truck driver going to dip down to the safety of pit road. Going to turn these boys loose up on the racetrack. Flashbulbs in the air. Green flag flies, racing once again. Let's get some more popsicle sticks. 2 laps to go. We're going to make it around these 2 times. Unlimited attempts at a green-white checkered finish. Mann and Lisowski leading both lines. And there comes the 3rd line up on the high side.
They're already 3 wide, and look at Rob Collier. He was involved dramatically in that previous caution, and he's right back in the mix here. All 4 championship drivers are inside the top 10, racing down the back straightaway. It's a dead-even fight between Mark Mann and Taylor Lisowski. The drafting help seems to be a little bit better down on the bottom side. Duvall going to make a move towards the back of the field to go up. Kevin West 3 wide, but he's all by himself. He's got no help up there. He will fall to the back.
Coming out of 3 and 4, bouncing off of each other, door to door, slide, big slide for the 933, gathers it back up. Mark Mann holding on to the lead, down to the bottom side, the 83 truck up on the high side, white flag, white rag, contact, the around.
Collier spins. The field implodes behind. That will leave Mark Mann at the front of the field. And here comes Duvall. Jax Duvall Crawl leading, or is 3rd place on the inside line. He may be the last competitor for Mark Mann to hold off. I don't see Michael Carpenter involved in this group either, so he may have been taken out in that crash. It's between Mann and Duvall down the back straightaway. Lisowski trying to get the win. Bolliard on the top side all by himself. Kevin West pushing his teammate, trying to get him the victory. TJ Floyd trying to push Mark Mann to the championship. Duvall with no help on the bottom side. They swerve. They sway. Who will make it to the start-finish line? Duvall down on the apron. Side by side for the win. He takes all the glory. Mark Mann will win at Daytona, and he is officially your 2022-2023 Liberty Racing League Super Speedway champion.
My, oh my, the champ is here. Batman, Mark Mann in the 04 car, doing what he needed to do. He showed up here tonight at Daytona International Speedway, hit that punch clock, did all the work, made all the laps, led some laps, and led the most important lap, the last one here tonight, the last lap on the season. Capping it off with a little bit of a W in that win column. And oh, by the way, heading into WrestleMania weekend with that gorgeous championship belt. Well-deserved, well-earned for Mark Mann. Holy moly, what a finish.
And you want to know something else about this, Paul? Remember the first race of the playoffs, right here at Daytona. Who won that race? Mark Mann. We come back to Daytona, the closer for the season finale, and he wins again. 2 wins in a row at Daytona to bookend the playoffs and wins himself a championship in a dramatic 3-wide finish. 61 thousandths of a second. He gets the victory. Kevin West will finish in position number 3. Jarrett Bolliard 4th, and Taylor Laskowski, he was leading that outside line, trying to get himself to victory lane. Unable to do so, he falls back to position number 5.
And we're going to have to tag team this interview because the energy is absolutely out of control down here in victory lane. Mark Mann, Mark, we talked to you before the race here tonight. We knew you had a lot of passion coming into this one. We knew you wanted that championship belt. Man, oh man, you did everything you needed to. You punched in, punched out, got that paycheck, got that belt. Mark, talk to us, brother. Congratulations.
TJ Floyd, he just pushed the heck out of me there at the end. I can't be, I'm super grateful for him. And Wes, too, there for pushing me as well. And my teammates for helping me all night. Great strategies. I got a little messy there at the end, but that was a fantastic race. Yes! Excited to get that belt, dude. I'm pumped.
Well, man, we can hear it in your voice. Winning a big race like this in Liberty Racing, winning multiple races, and then coming down and winning the championship. We've heard from all of the drivers throughout the field, throughout the past 17 weeks. Winning a race here in Liberty Racing means something. It is very, very difficult to win one of these super speedway races. You've got yourself multiple wins. You've got the championship belt. You've got the energy flowing through you right now, man.
Yeah.
Just talk to us about that finish. We had TJ Floyd right up behind you. Massive punch from the 49. But just what's going through your mind right now?
I'm just excited.
I'm dead. Fuck you.
What the heck? I just needed that, as a good morale booster, and and winning races here is super hard. Anybody who thinks that, Mark, you got 3 races won, those were all tough. Let me tell you, I didn't think I would get even 1 race won. And, I said at the beginning of the broadcast that if I was going to get the championship, I was going to have to win the race. And I did. And my teammate Rick said, you're going to have to win this race. And, super excited. At the end there, I didn't have any more fuel. That was it. If we didn't finish there, I would have had to stop, and then that would have cycled up the other chasers, and then I would have been done. So, I was happy I stayed out. I was so glad not another green white checker. Oh, thank goodness. Great pushing by TJ Floyd. And that's kind of a testament to some of these guys out here. They go with the flow of the race. They don't care who's in front of them. I was actually hoping Wes was going to work his way to the high line and then clear me, because we were saying it, just push Wes to the win. And that's what I was going to do if he was there. But I got the win. I had TJ behind me, so had my teammates behind me all night tonight, coaching me up, and good fuel strategy. Yeah, I'm pumped up, man. Can't thank you enough to you guys at Vidane TV and for broadcasting, and bshow.info and Liberty. What was the other sponsorship? What was the other sponsor? I'm drawing a blank. I apologize. The guys who give out the beef jerky, and my teammates, for sure. I would never have made it to this point if it wasn't for them. And my friend Mara at home for watching the race. She's blowing up my text right now, congratulating me. And I dedicate this one to her father, Bill, who passed away last year. We're going to a Vietnam memorial at Saratoga National Cemetery tomorrow and honor him, taking the day off and doing that. So I want to dedicate this race to him. And I'm just super happy. And let me tell you, I'm gonna be waiting for that mail. I want that belt.
Beautiful championship belt in the mail here by the end of the week. I can guarantee it. And Kyle, you and I talked all throughout the race, man. Fuel mileage came down to it. I'm sitting here at the end of this thing, and I'm looking for the burnout. There's no burnout. Kyle, that truck's that's a live shot. That car's sitting on the front straightaway down there.
Yeah, it is. He is completely dry, letting the emotions settle in and realizing the championship is his. Mark, we saw a very interesting race tonight, with it being green flag throughout the majority of it. A lot of cooperation amongst the field, trying to save fuel and making pit stops. What goes through your mind when you're racing like that throughout the majority of the race? You get down to 10 to go, and then you have a caution flag, and then you have an overtime finish. You're trying to manage fuel. You're trying to stay out in front. You have a championship to win. What's going on in your head and all those mentality changes that you had to go through so quickly in the last portion of the race?
And that's a good way to put it. It was such it was such a mentality change throughout the race, because the first, 85-90% of that race, it was green flag. So you're thinking, don't make a mistake on pit road. We all of us on Alliance took those pit stops pretty conservatively tonight to not make any mistakes, get out clean, get back in the pack. And then the cautions come out, and you're hoping to maintain track position. The chasers keep on cycling through like a washing machine. Now you got Michael, in seventh, and Rob and Jax, and everybody's around you. And then, you get that another green, white checker. And then now you're starting to look at fuel. And I had enough for one more. So a little bit of answered prayers there. And we made it. And, and I would never have won that race if I didn't have somebody who, was selfless there and dedicated and pushed me. And I've been racing, quite a bit of time, super speedways, and I have a pretty long memory, so I won't forget that.
You said that you felt like in order to win the championship, you had to come here to win the race. You put yourself at the front of the field late in the race, and the pushes started getting harder. We started seeing three wide. Drivers were moving all over the place. We know how volatile super speedway racing can be. During those closing laps, did at any point you felt like that maybe you made the wrong decision and you were afraid of what was going to happen next, or did you feel confident about it the whole way through?
I felt confident about it just because I was leading and I was on the bottom, and I felt like if anything major was happening, I was doing a lot of mirror driving there. So I was watching where the third lane was coming into the second lane. And if they started hitting, I could at least escape, save my car, and hopefully maintain my track position. But, and you're just trusting that person behind you, to push you clean. These trucks were pretty darty tonight. So leading or being in clean air, they were really darty in the back straights. So yeah, you're just kind of trusting the people around you and see what worked out. But yeah, if I was going to win this championship, I would have had to have won this race, because every one of those chasers were right there. Every one of us had a shot at this. I'm just happy it was me, selfishly. But yeah, and I will admit though, if one of my teammates would have won tonight, or Wes, or even Floyd, or TJ Floyd, or any of those guys would have won this, I'd have been fine, just as long as it wasn't another chaser. Happy to get this championship. To win it and win the championship is pretty special.
Well, Mark, of course, a massive congratulations for the success this season. 3 race victories. You bookend the playoffs. You started with a win at Daytona. You end with a win at Daytona. And, of course, it comes with a championship belt as well. I'm fortunate enough to be one of the few people that have seen that belt in person. I'm telling you, it is gorgeous. You are going to love it. I can't wait to see some photos and or videos of you with it. Thank you for putting on such a great show tonight and throughout the season. It's been an honor to be able to watch this stuff for all of these guys in the booth here, to call these races and be a part of such a special moment for all of the competitors, and especially for you here tonight. Wes, I'll turn things on over to you. I see that you're in here. I know that you're the league admin here. I'm sure there are some special congratulations that you would like to give your champion, and any other final thoughts that you would like to give on the season, the night, anything like that. The mic is all yours, my friend. You have definitely deserved it with this league.
Kyle, first of all, thank you for your support as well, not only as a sponsor, but as a friend. Kyle, you've been here since 2009 in this sim racing experience that we've been going through. And you've been there through a lot of it. And then, you've been a big support of not only the league, but myself. And then we've been really happy to have you on board for the last part of this season as a sponsor, and hopefully we'll have you on next season as well as the Dr. Race Chaser brand grows. I hope it will grow at Liberty, and I'm also very proud of you, and you deserve this success that you're getting. And the next person, Paul, thank you for the broadcast throughout this season. Just flawless work by yourself, even working through some kinks, some technical kinks that's out of your power. We worked together, found a way around it, made it happen, and I feel like Vidane is now making it happen as well. So can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so that leads to Mark. Jesus Christ, man. First of all, before we even get into it, you said in slam drafting how much this would mean to you, and you felt like in order to win this championship, you'd have to win the race. And that's the first thing I said when I was told you were the winner, because I was in that calamity. I asked who win. They said Mark Mann. Am I getting it? He said you have to win the race, win this championship. So
no doubt.
Congratulations to you as well as
Thank you.
everybody that was in this race. We went 3/4 of this race caution free. Yeah, a lot of it had to do with just fuel mileage. Everybody running easy so they can run hard at the end, which I feel like everybody did a really good job of running 3/4 throttle for 80 laps almost. But I think everybody was kind of on the same page with that. And when it was time to go, it was time to go. And we had remarkable 3-wide racing with drivers that are involved in this championship, racing with as much respect as you could expect you guys to race with. And it was, holy crap. Like, it was some of the best racing. I don't know if anybody could really be mad at anybody here. A lot of coulda, shoulda, wouldas, I'm sure. But Mark, I just want to say, and after this, I'm gonna hand it off to Paul, let him do his usual. But I just want to hand you the proverbial 2022-2023 Winter Liberty Racing League Super Speedway Championship belt. That belt is all of yours, Mr. Mann.
Yes. All right.
Let's go.
Woo, let's go. Yeah. Oh, I'm not gonna get any sleep tonight because I'm gonna watch the whole broadcast back and be dragging ass tomorrow.
as you should. Now, the one request we have, and I think we asked this man, I'm off lost word slam drafting, is when you receive this belt.
Yes, sir.
If you can get a video of the unpackaging.
Okay.
Unpackaging it, because we want to see your reaction as you unravel this belt and you pull it out. We want to see that reaction the first time.
All right.
You throw it over your shoulder or put it around your waist, however you want to present it.
I'm pretty sentimental too, so anything that I get, I keep forever. So it's in good hands. It's
awesome.
It's not just gonna it's gonna go right in my trophy case. I got a little trophy case right here.
Well, it definitely was much deserved. And to your teammates, we thank them as well. We had zero team manipulation through any of the teams in this race. That's what we like to hear, or that's what we like to see. And I really hope we get to see you guys not only next season, but the special event coming April 30th. Remember, message me your numbers for that.
Yep.
And I'm still upset with you guys with how smart you are with fuel mileage, but we didn't let you win this time by it, man. We did not let you.
We did not.
We made you earn it.
Definitely. Even with fuel mileage, we earned them too. Because this is has such good super speedway drivers out here. I mean, when we got into this league, we were like, wow, all right, we're gonna have to really try and work as a team and get tight to get any wins over here. We were just fortunate to steal a few, but great drivers, and what a wonderful league. You guys, I enjoyed the vibe. Super happy that I found us. I couldn't be happier right now. I've had a great time.
I just wanted to say congratulations to you as well, Mark, and everybody in the league deserves a round of applause for. We started the season with I think like 40, almost a full field, right around 40 drivers, and we ended the season with 25. Some of those didn't even have to leave because they quit. They had to actually leave for other reasons. So it was just a great season altogether. It's our best yet, and you're well deserved to be the champion. Pretty sure you won the most races in the league, and you damn well went out on top. And I tried to give you the run there off turn 4, but and I tried to push you clean when we were 3 wide there. I gave you a couple of shots to get you squirrely, but the last thing I wanted to do was turn you around there. But you've definitely deserved to be the Liberty Racing League champion this year. And again, congratulations. You well earned.
Thank you. It was awesome racing with you this season.
Thank you. An awesome job to Paul and Kyle for calling the race. I'm going to rewatch it as well.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, you can watch all these races from Liberty Racing League throughout the season. 17 weeks, 16 races, and there was an all-star race in there. Your boy finished 6th. Oh, by the way, I just want to throw that out there. I did get a top 10 here in the Liberty Racing League, which is a lot of fun. But a little bit further up pit road, going to catch up with the biggest mover of the race here tonight. TJ Floyd involved in a little bit of an incident about halfway through. Got that truck fixed. Even after 6 laps, still calling them cars. Got that 49 truck fixed. 14 spots gained on the evening. Coming home on the podium. Strong finish to the season. Second place finish. TJ, talk to us, man.
Yeah, it's a wild night. I got cycled back for some pit strategy. I pit 1 lap later just in case some green white checkers came and got cycled all the way to the back. I had those cautions come out. I was pretty much running dead last at the end of the lead lap, and those cautions came out, and luck just turned my way and made my way back up front. And yeah, we finished the race, pushed Mark to the win. So congrats to Mark. Try to keep it clean on everybody, especially after my truck got crashed on the first green white checker there. And yeah, it was a fun race all race. I wish we didn't have so many fuel mileage races sometimes, but it was good, clean racing up until the end, and even then it was still pretty clean.
Now, we talked, this is probably one of the most unique fuel mileage races that we've seen throughout the season here at Liberty Racing. Talk to us about that first half, 3/4 of the race where everybody was kind of running at about 3/4 throttle. Does it get frustrating when you try and get up on the high side and you just don't quite have enough momentum to get around them, but it's almost like being on the interstate where they're kind of driving slow in the passing lane. You don't really have enough momentum to get around.
Yeah, that's a great point. I kind of figured after the first round of pit stops, we'd be running, single file or maybe 3/4 throttle. And I was good up until the third pit stop. I just stretched it 1 lap too short, or too long, I should say. And after that, I got pushed all the way to the back. So I was running, 10th, 15th place the whole time. And then that third pit stop really screwed me on the long run. So it was a little frustrating to run, 60 laps and then essentially be 20 seconds behind the leader. But, we ended up second place, so it's really how you finish, not how you start. So,
little perseverance to cap off the season. Great finish here, finishing in the runner-up spot, getting that black and green machine, a little bit of TV time. And want to give you an opportunity here, TJ. Thank anybody that's out there watching, friends, family, sponsors, partners, teammates. The microphone, all yours, brother.
Yeah, just big shout out to my wife. I got a 2-month-old at home, so she takes care of the baby while I come up here a few nights a week and try to release some stress. The guys at B Show, all you guys at Verdane, Dr. Race Chaser for sponsoring us, Wes putting on the league, and everyone racing clean. I know last week some words were said and some shots were thrown, but I think at the end of the day, everyone gets along and tries to have a good time on the racetrack.
Entertaining the masses as we do here on Verdane TV. Great run, great recovery, finishing in second. TJ, congratulations, man.
Appreciate it. See y'all next time.
100%. And speaking of Dr. Race Chaser, you have caught up with the Trailer Park Dude, the number 17 of Kevin West, third place finisher.
I sure have, Paul. A podium run for Kevin West to wrap up this season. Kevin, one of the factors in this race here tonight, you were up towards the front the entirety of the way. Did all you could to end up in victory lane to end the season. You were just a little bit short, though. What more do you think you needed in order to get there tonight?
Well, on that last stop, I kind of screwed myself and took a little bit less fuel than I needed to. So, really, the last 20 laps of the race, I was trying to save a little bit, but trying not to lose as much ground as possible at the same time. So, I actually ran out of fuel as I crossed the finish line. So, yeah, it was a good race. The fuel mileage thing was a little nerve-wracking. It got a little bit boring halfway through the race there, but you'll have that sometimes. But yeah, we had a good truck tonight. We went for it at the end, came up a little bit short. Didn't get a win this season, so we're a little bit disappointed about that. But we ran good, and we got pretty far along in the playoffs. So overall, it was a good season. And I just want to give a shout out to Mark Mann. Congratulate him. He ran amazing all season long. And shout out to my teammates at NTO4. I've had a lot of fun running with them this season. And shout out to Dr. Race Chaser and Verdane TV. You guys have been killing it on the broadcast. So thank you guys.
Now, speaking of your team, the NTO4 Racing Boys, you guys were packed together for quite a bit during this race, and we really saw you guys around each other a lot during the green flag runs. And I think it was during that second green flag run where you guys were kind of swapping positions a little bit, kind of allowing some of your guys to lead for a little while, and then they would drop back and put somebody else up in front. Was that part of your strategy, kind of cooperating with each other a little bit, so that way everybody had an opportunity to save some fuel and you didn't keep one of your drivers out in front for too long?
Yeah, that's exactly what we were doing. It just we kind of cycled through and ended up leading the race there, and we knew we had to save a little bit, so we just made a plan between each other that we'd lead 3 laps or so and then fall back, and then the next guy will come up and lead 3 laps and fall back, just to save a little bit of fuel, and so we can make it to the end.
Of course, we know the big special event coming up at the end of next month, and then things are going to go dull here for the Liberty Racing League after that. We know that you are a very avid iRacer, and a pretty damn good one at that. What kind of things are up on your radar in the iRacing world up in these next few months as we get towards the summer?
Man, really would like to get my iRating up to around 5,000. I'm around 4,000 right now. And ultimately, I would like to make a little bit of a push to try to see if I can get up into the Coke Series next year, maybe the year after. So I'm going to start working towards doing that. So looking forward to that. That should be a lot of fun. Hopefully grow the Twitch channel a little bit and grow the TikTok a little bit. I've been doing a little trying to beat the world record Gen 4 qualifying time on the world record list on the iRacing member site. So I've been having fun just trying to beat the pros, so to speak, and try to outrun them in qualifying. So if you want to check that out on TikTok, everyone watching, please feel free to do so. But yeah, that's about all I got to look forward to here.
Some interesting goals for sure, and who knows, maybe one day we will have a Liberty Racing League driver representing us in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. Kevin, if there's anybody else that you would like to thank, any of your other social media platforms that you would like to plug, please do so. The mic is all yours for that.
You can find me on Twitch at Trailer Park Dude. You can find me on TikTok at Trailer Park Dude, Facebook as well. I want to give a shout out to my wife and my kids and the rest of my family. Sometimes they tune in to Vidane TV to check out the races, so I appreciate their support.
Those are the words from your third place finisher tonight, Kevin West, part of that 3-wide finish coming across the line. Oh, so shy of grabbing that first win of the season, but unfortunately he settles for third to cap off this amazing season here with the Liberty Racing League Super Speedway Series.
And it has been a wild season in the 17 weeks, 16 points paying races, and it all came down to Mark Mann winning the last race of the season and rocking and rolling. But that's going to do it here for us live on Vidane TV. The next time we see you,